I released 4 albums. I toured America twice. I average placing 5 to 10,000 bets a month.
You said, I really need to stop drinking for a while, thinking of maybe heading to a rehab facility.
Yeah, I remember sending that.
Were you drunk?
Yeah.
You said you had thoughts of suicide.
I used to think about it. I used to plan it. I woke up one day and I was like, right, this needs to change.
We've sent you over 3 hours, maybe 4 hours of voice messages, and I've said some of the most brutally honest things I've ever said to a member, to the point where sometimes I'm like, should I have really sent that?
I could easily sit here and say, well, yeah, that's a bit embarrassing to hear that. But to be honest, I'm glad to hear it because it helps to signify the growth.
All right, Mike, 43-year-old with 2 kids, and your story over the past 12 months could honestly be a 3-hour documentary. In the last 18 months, you've placed 90,000 bets and over 2,500 hours invested into a gambling system that you've made unrelated to match betting. Now, we're not here to talk about that. We're also here to talk about a history of potentially heavy drug use.
Drinking. Yeah.
Alcohol addiction, to the point where last week you were telling myself and Tom about it, that you potentially need to go to rehab.
Yeah.
A music career, 25 years of it. Even thoughts of suicide. This all started obviously when you were younger, but in this community it started back in June 2022, where I had a free call with you. It then took you another 14 months to join the Platinum Squad after I told you to sell stocks. You then did that. You then jumped into the horse system. You've had periods where you've 4x your unit size and essentially gambled in the wrong way following our system. You then had a massive sook in February and March this year where we made a podcast about it. I've had 2 free calls with you, maybe even 3. Tom has had another 1 or 2. We've sent you over 3 hours, maybe 4 hours of voice messages, and I've said some of the most brutally honest things I've ever said to a member, to the point where sometimes I'm like, should I have really sent that? This included stuff such as telling you to give up, telling you this isn't for you, and that you're wasting your time here. And there's literally footage of me sitting there on my laptop on a call with you, pulling my hair out. Now, that's all negative. But since then, you've fully woken yourself up, changed your mindset, and I would say you've had a light bulb moment to the point where you've fully changed your life.
Yeah.
This happened in April this year. Since then, you've lost weight, started going to the gym. You got engaged to your partner, Sarah, who's now your fiance, and she's also a member of this community as well.
Yep. You've
then sent me drunk Instagram messages to myself and Tom, getting emotional, saying thanks to everything that you've been helped with. But the Mike who sits there today is a completely different person to the one who sat there back in February this year. In your own words, what's changed in the last 3 months that's got you to that position? And before you answer that, I just want to welcome you to the podcast. This is the first time we've ever interviewed someone one-on-one.
Thanks, man.
So the floor is yours.
Yeah. Really pleased to be here. It's been a dream of mine to be here sitting with you, brother. And yeah, okay, so what's happened in the last 3 months? I guess I got to the point where I was the heaviest I've ever been, weight-wise. I was 157 kilos, drinking too much. This is back in February. Eating like absolute shit and not doing any training. I just let myself go, physically, mentally, emotionally. And I woke up one day and I felt like this is fucked. Like I've got to change something here. And I remember the weekend I was actually in Sydney when I sent you those long fucking sooking messages, and I said some pretty nasty shit. And I got really emotional about we'd had a negative day or something. I don't know. And I was just emotional about it. And then you sent me a 25-minute voice, which I think was the longest one you've ever sent to a member, absolutely rinsing my ass. And I was like, and as soon as I was listening to that, and instantly I've Jesus, I've fucked up here. I really shouldn't have done that. And then the same day I had a call with Tom, and he couldn't believe that you'd spent 25 minutes on a voice message to a member. And yeah, so that was sort of the low point for me. And then after that, that kind of light bulb moment started. It took place over a few months. I was so unhappy with my body and the physical state that I was in. I was like, right, this needs to change. I had high cholesterol. I was pre-diabetic. I got prescribed statin drugs to help lower cholesterol. I lasted 2 days on those, and they were fucked. And so right, and I just started training every day, going for walks every day. Sarah, my partner, hey babe, she's a personal trainer, so she's been really instrumental in my physical development, and just showing me better diets, like keto diet, all that sort of, cutting out sugar, cutting out carbs, all that sort of stuff. And I just committed myself to the process of that, and I knew full well that it wasn't going to happen overnight. I was going to have to make a permanent change, not just something for 1 month, not just something for 3 months, but the rest of my life. And I committed to that. Had it, extended periods of time off drinking. I still drank occasionally, yes, but I could go longer without it. And I just it didn't take too long before I started to see the results. The weight started dropping off. I just started feeling a lot more physically and mentally healthier and emotionally healthier. And things just started to turn around, I guess. And I stayed in this community because I love not just the match betting stuff. Yeah, I love learning about all that sort of stuff. I find that fascinating, and I see it as a great investment. But just the mindset stuff that you, Tom and Steve, sort of teach us all on, it's just fucking elite. Like, it's very hard to get access to that type of thing without, I don't know, doing a fucking psychology degree or something, which I'd like to do, but I don't have to spare 50 grand to do it. And it just slowly started to turn around for the better. And I stopped getting so emotional about the short-term results and all the content you've really worked your ass off to create about teaching us to think long-term. It just sunk in. I wish it didn't take so long for it to do that. But it just sunk in. And when it did, I was like, fuck, this is awesome. This is like a totally new, I've never had a mindset as good as this that your community has single-handedly helped to influence and create.
Yeah, nice. No, good summary. I'll get a quote from you to talk about this specific thing. So you said, it's funny, the very weekend a few months ago when I sent you all those Sooking messages about short-term results was also when I was at my absolute worst physically and was 156 kilos. I'm completely convinced that sufficient mental, emotional growth simply cannot happen without physical growth as well. It has constantly blown my mind just how interlinked the body and mind really are. And this progress proves that. This is in April.
Yep.
And yes, the involvement in this community has most definitely influenced some of the most significant positive changes for me that I've ever had, especially in regards to my overall mental and emotional management. What you guys do is much deeper than just the mechanics of match betting. I look at it as raw and intense psychology because it confronts us directly to literally change the way we think and behave when it comes to our betting practices. And as you guys constantly reiterate yourselves, all these changes can obviously contribute to exceptional growth in all other areas of our lives. Now, let's reverse. You're now changed.
Yeah.
And I would say permanently, I don't want to speak for you, but I think I said this to you in April. It's to the point now where I don't think you would ever get back to that shitty mindset. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. There's no desire or purpose whatsoever to even think about going back to that.
Is that like because you've now had the ability to see what the other side looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. And I much prefer the other side.
So did you not have that before? Like, did you know that?
I think I had it.
Yeah.
But over the last few years, I've sort of lost it.
Yeah.
I think I've had a few issues with my music career, not being as motivated with that, not being as engaged with that, and feeling a bit lost in life. So I was kind of, swimming around in a bit of no man's land for a while there, just trying to find some purpose. And I that was one of the things that drove me to get so deeply involved into betting, like my stuff and your stuff as well, because it was just a new challenge for me. It was a new mental and numerical challenge for me. So yeah, I think I was able to see the two, but I was pretty lost for quite some time there.
Yeah. So let's go a little bit deeper into the sooking, because we're just talking about sooking, what had actually happened, right?
Yeah.
Are you okay if I read out some of the stuff that you said to us?
Go for it.
So the first ever one happened in November last year, and you said, I must admit this negative variance is really starting to hurt. I'll definitely stay on as a member, but if we have a losing month, that will definitely hurt a bit. I'm stopping for tonight. My bankroll can't handle another loss after the first two. Currently $25 unit size, but on losing days, I reduce it to 15 to 20 to help minimize losses. Now, Harry, the coach, is someone who, on your horse system tipping channel, I actually wasn't fully aware as to how much he sent you as well after reviewing some of the stuff this morning.
Yeah.
Now, he sent you a lot of cool shit, and I'd love to be able to show this to the audience as well, what he sent, but it would take literally a 3-hour documentary, but we maybe do it. Yeah. Point is, you basically said, after he told you not to focus so much on the micro form, that it's easy to say that, but often harder to put into practice in reality, especially when you guys are currently very close to the first losing month in history. Now, yes, I may come across as being emotional here, but we're all human at the end of the day. Like I said before, I'll keep subscribing and have no intention of jumping off, but the negative variance happening at the moment still hurts, I must admit. Now, to your credit, through this whole period, you were quite very adamant that you weren't sold on this whole thing. You kept questioning it. This was in November. Yeah. Right? But you still always said, I'm going to keep going for at least 12 months. And to your credit, that's what you've done. Yeah. Now, I rinsed you then with a 7-minute voice, followed by another 6-minute one. You then came back to us on December, and obviously we had a profitable December and wiped out all the negative variance of the 11 units we lost in November or whatever it was. We then had plus 58 December. Yep. You then got emotional again on the other side, riding the highs. And you basically said, you sent a big spiel, but at the end of it you said, let me say this, never again will you hear or see me whinge about a losing day, week or month. I'm done doing that shit now. And November was a good learning curve for me to managing emotions when it comes to all of this. Bring on 2024. I say, let's roll.
Wow.
So that's December.
Shit.
Then go back to February 10. Now, January, losing month, -7 or something. February, maybe like -10. But in the middle of February here, you said, I must admit that I am definitely intrigued as to exactly why you guys remain so staunchly convinced that this absolutely fucking awful period of variance will turn around as it always does. What if it doesn't? What if it keeps continuing for another month and you guys continue to keep losing subscribers? How much longer are we expected to just keep showing up and doing the exact same thing whilst we keep losing more and more money? Yes, I'll continue to stay on as a sub and will commit to a minimum of a year, but I can't deny the fact that losing money continuously whilst paying for the experience like this does not hurt. Now, go on, rinse me if you want for saying all this. That wouldn't surprise me, but as a paying member who's also converted my girlfriend into paying a sub, I think it's only fair that we share our thoughts, feelings, and opinions, whether they are positive or negative. The final thing, sorry, this is going long. Another thing I've found increasingly difficult to deal with recently is the fact that you guys seem to have lost interest in the actual races for themselves and don't seem to care anymore about whether the tips win or not. Now, for context, we changed the agenda around results in January from days to weeks to months, deleting that and focusing minimum 3 months. We had an agenda in mind, which has now proven very good for every member that's been involved. Yeah. However, do you want to reflect on some of that shit? I know I just said a lot of stuff, but what's your thoughts on all of that? And do you feel like that is something that is stupid hearing that now? Or do you feel like it was like, what's the difference in your thought process now?
Oh, look, it's, I could easily sit here and say, well, that's a bit embarrassing to hear that. But to be honest, I'm glad to hear it because it helps to signify the growth, and because you've and I was totally expecting this because you store everything. I don't know how you do it.
Well, a lot of this is just in my head, but obviously
Yeah,
I've gone and researched it.
You do it in your head, and it's like, do you have like 10 fucking terabytes to store all this shit from all of us?
Yeah. Telegram stores it all.
Yeah, there you go. But I like hearing it now because it can help me to recognize the changes, you know, and I'm not, like I could sit here and say, oh, that's embarrassing to hear that I was like that, but I'm the sort of person, like, I guess I have a level of objectivity about myself where I don't mind criticism, because I know that if it's constructive, it's going to make me better at whatever it is that I'm doing. Like I've been on stage for 25 years. I'm used to dealing with haters and fucking trolls and whatever. Like, don't care. But if it's constructive, and everything that you've ever said to me, even some of the rinses, when you one time you threatened you were going to cancel my subscription and that.
Us cancelling it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You said, oh, look, we can just cancel your subscription. And I was like, oh, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Please.
we've done that to people because we just don't want to waste their time.
Yeah, and that's fair enough.
Honestly, like, I reckon me and Tom have had conversations between ourselves and just like, fucking Mike. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, why is he unable to get through? And then, like, you still stuck around. And the best part is now we can look back on it and be like, well, fuck, that's elite. Like, the fact that you can sit here and say, you almost wanted to go through all of that, as hard as it is, because you come out the other side and it's like, you're better now because you went through shit, rather than just being this perfect ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great that you brought. I was expecting this, and it's good for me to hear that, because it's good for me to have a reminder of where I was, and also where I don't want to go back to in future. And stuff like this is a good. Like, I'm the sort of person that I like direct. It's one thing I've always appreciated with you. Even when you've had a go at me about something, you just direct. You don't fuck around. And I really, it's hard to find that in this investing space. There's so many schemes out there that tell you how to make money, whether that's through betting, whether that's through stocks, whether that's through crypto. Most of them are full of shit. And if you can get anyone a human to actually talk to you, well, you're doing pretty well. And you guys have always done that. And even when you tell me stuff that may hurt at the time, may hurt my ego, it's what I need. It's always what I need to hear. And that's really refreshing to find a financial investment product and service that does that, and does it on a personal kind of level. So.
Yeah. Well, it's when you say all that, it sounds like we're like calling you names and all this. We've never, I don't think personally, ever attacked someone's personally call you I don't know, like maybe we called you names based on what your actions were, but it's never attacking you as a human. It's attacking your actions or your behaviors or your mindset, which is aimed to help you. Yeah. Right. That the whole aim of rinsing someone is not to make them feel like shit. It's to make them get better.
Absolutely.
So I just want to clarify as well, through that time you were saying you were losing money and stuff, like the horse system itself, you should have been in a period of about 120 units profit if you were following properly. However, what happened during that time was that you were following on a unit size. I'm not 100% sure whether you did this intentionally or whether it was a mistake, because it sounds like going back over it, you were following correctly on a $10 unit size to start, then 15, then 20, which is fine. But then it got to Feb and you were suddenly placing a 1 unit tip with a unit size of 25 was now going on 4 different bookies, which meant your unit size was 100. Yeah. Why were you doing that?
Greedy.
So you were consciously doing it. Like
I was consciously doing it, but at the time, like looking back on this, I remember when we had this conversation, I think you were in Japan at the time. I was not fully aware of, I thought 1 unit was just 1 unit, regardless of how many bookies we were using. At the time, I was greedy because I was using 4 or 5 different bookies for the same
with
race.
With a 2K bankroll you had or something around that.
Yeah.
So you put $100 on a horse with a 2K bankroll. Yeah. Essentially 1 unit would be 1/20th of your bankroll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's why your bankroll got depleted.
Yeah. Because
when it should be 100 unit bankroll.
Yeah.
Okay. But you weren't doing that at the start. in November.
No.
You signed up to the horse system in August, and why weren't you doing it then?
I started on a $10 unit size then, and I was just trying to, like, I remember starting in August, and I just wanted to find my feet, I guess, and just take things really slow and be controlled with my staking, because I know how much of a point you always make of that, to have controlled staking, and that's really is extremely important with any investment. But yeah, when we started having a good few months, I was like, fuck, this is, I got emotional, I got excited, and I thought, fuck, without thinking of my bankroll and the obvious limitations of it, I thought, oh, fuck, I'll jump up to 25, I'll go to 30, I'll make some more money. And then I started doing it on other bookies, and I let the emotional high of a few good months, when I'd only been in the community for, I think, 2 or 3 months, it just got the better of me, and I just got carried away with it, and got greedy, and I paid the price for that. Yeah.
So you got to the point where you pretty much depleted all the bankroll in your bookies.
Yeah.
Because the negative variance during the February-January period went probably, I think we got to a point of like negative 24 was the worst period, which meant that if you were $100 units on a $2,000 bankroll, that's 20 units. You would be done. Yeah. Which is what happened. And then you came back to us and said, I'm losing all this money, my bankroll's depleted. And we're like, bro, like your bankroll should be like minus 10% of what it was. And before that, you should be plus 100%. So like, how the fuck have you lost money?
Yeah.
And we're like, and then it clicked, and you said, I'm Forexing my unit size. And it took us about a week to work that out, because we were just going back and forth. Like, right. And then we're like, well, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that was hard to hear. But then we got on a call in March, and again, this is after the 25-minute voice message I sent you. And we had a period where you're like, what do? I can't follow this because I have no bankroll. And then you were on the call, I worked out you were following the whole day on a Saturday with just Sportsbet on every tip. And I'm like, man, like you can't do that. There's no mathematical edge.
Yeah.
And then we kind of had a bit of a discussion on that call. It's quite a good call. And then from there, I don't know what happened. I think that you maybe went away and had a bit of a moment. And then a month later, bang, light bulb moment happens. Like start going to the gym, completely changed your life, whatever. Yeah. But I think, was there a key moment that was something
after
happened?
Our last phone call?
Well, yeah. What happened I know we talked about the change of mindset, but what actually happened? Like, is it that you woke up one day, like you said, and you just thought, fuck this?
Well, it was, I guess it was a progression of things that I was doing to lose weight, to get fitter. It wasn't just one particular moment. It was just, well, back in February, I did get to the point where I was grossly unhappy. I was grossly overweight, and I wasn't happy with myself at all, physically or mentally. And I had to change. And slowly over time, with keeping up gym sessions, keeping up swim sessions, going for a walk, like just keeping the exercise up, that really helped to change and turn things around for me. And I stuck around in this community even when I'd depleted all my bankroll with poor bankroll management. There was that thing in me that's like, nah, I'm not leaving. Like I'm going to make this fucking well work. If I have to go through more pain because I make mistakes, well, I'm just going to have to learn that. But there was this thing in my mind that's right. And I guess I've sort of been like this a lot in my life, especially with my music, where if I want something badly enough, I revert to a mindset where I need to make it happen. It's not just wanting, it's needing. And I remove the option to not get it. I remove the option to fail. I will find a way to make it work. And that probably doesn't work for everyone. It sounds a bit extreme, but that's how I've approached my music for 25 years, and I've always been able to make a living out of that. So I really kicked into that kind of mindset, and coupled with the physical training and better eating, I cut out eating shit, sugar and ice cream, all that crap that I used to eat. I just stopped eating it, and I started losing weight instantly. So it was a physical and mental change, but it had to be driven physically first, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was just, I was just hell bent on making this match betting stuff work for me, given, all the time I put into it, all the time that you guys have put into me, all the calls. I've often thought to myself, these guys must be tearing their fucking hair out with this.
Literally, you're not wrong.
Like,
but it's worth it in the end, I think.
He's paying us. He's giving us $1 or $2 grand, and we should have charged him 10.
I mean, like, it's hard because some people don't ask any questions, and other people like fully just milk as much as they can, and that's fine. You're entitled to do that.
Yeah.
In regards to the calls, we probably only allow like 1, and you've had like 4, but who cares? Like, you've got to where you are now. If it takes you an extra couple, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing all of that about your personal life.
Sure.
Now, you said something on April 13, which I reckon contributed to the massive light bulb moment. You said on the coaching channel, you said, all right, so for the first time ever since starting here, I'm actually going to not watch any of the races at all today whilst following the tips. This is something I've always done religiously. Yes, I do quite enjoy watching them, of course, but I think this is definitely an important step for me to take with my overall emotional management to step away from watching them.
Yeah.
Do you still watch them? Or like, do you?
Sometimes not. It just depends what I've got on for the day. Like, if I decide I want to make a day of it, like Sarah and I will be hanging out at my place or something, and we'll be cooking something or having a few drinks or whatever. And if we decide, okay, we're going to be watching races today, we'll do it. But we don't do that as often anymore. And often if I've got gigs on or other stuff on, or if I've got the kids around, I'd rather not watch the races. I enjoy watching races, and prior to joining this community, I was never that into horse racing. I was more into sport. But since coming into here, I've really loved watching the races. I do enjoy it, but I don't see it as a necessary thing to do. I remember that day I went for a walk. I wasn't drinking that day. I was completely sober, and I went did some meditation in the sauna and just had a really healthy kind of cleansing day. And it was that day that Pride of Jenny won by some stupid fucking amount at Randwick, like, I don't know, 40 lengths or something, like, biggest win ever. And I didn't even watch the race. I watched the replay the following day. Fuck me, I've never seen a horse win by so much. But yeah, no, I found that, and I made a comment in the Discord. I said I've been for a run and gone to the sauna and still followed the tips, but not watched any races, and found it very liberating. Yeah.
Interesting. Because I think, honestly, if you had to go at us for not celebrating anymore, because we have many vlogs out there where we're just full on riding them. Like, obviously we do this internally, and people probably think that we're just these robotic humans. We are.
Yeah.
But we still love that side of it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, as a business, we can't do that, because if we do that, it goes completely against the agenda that we're actually trying to set.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is control your emotions, act in a disciplined way. If we're there carrying on swearing, fucking yelling at horses, controlling shit, trying to work it out that we can't actually control, then that is just the complete opposite. And internally,
it was fun when you were doing it.
Yeah, it is fucking fun, but
yeah,
we can't do that anymore. And we changed that at the end of last year. We don't do any tipping day vlogs anymore.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Now, when you see the change, it's like, well, what's the fun in this? And I think you actually said something like, oh, I'm not here to like make robotic money. I don't want to do that. That's boring as fuck. I'd go and invest in stocks and stuff if I wanted to do that. It's like, brother, like, stocks is gambling. This is not gambling.
Yeah.
But it's like, we changed that, and the business has moved in a different direction to that. And it's all more about the mindset stuff. So I think you can understand that now. And I think many people out there who can't control their emotions would benefit massively from hearing you say that about feeling liberated. Because a lot of the times, if you turn the race off, you don't have any emotion. Like your coach, Harry, he hasn't watched the races since, I don't even know, since November maybe last year. And he's now working with Lenny and doing some crazy stuff. But like, he's never watched them. He always asks, was it a bonus in the Discord? Like, because he doesn't know. And then, but I think personally, like, it just adds, like, even the sound of the commentary, it just makes you think differently and feel differently, because
all the top guys in the community, especially like guys in mentorship, do none of them watch races?
Well, I don't know, but I would say that they're that into it that they don't have time to.
They don't need to
get into it. I mean, if I was match betting, I would still be watching it. Like, I enjoy that part of it. Yeah. But that's because I'm so robotic. I know that if I watch the race, I'm not going to have any effect. Like, if I watch the race or I don't watch the race, there's no change in behavior.
Yeah.
If something wins or loses, no change in behavior. So like, maybe 10 years ago there would have been, but like now there's not. So I
Sure.
can watch them and
Yeah.
I enjoy that part of it. But for others, that kills them.
Yeah.
And that's why gamblers lose. That's why there's commentary on the tab. Like
Yeah.
they're making you do shit because
Yeah.
they're constantly talking about it. So
Yep.
you don't want to hear from me though. So you said another quote. You said the community itself has helped you with your match betting and your music. We'll get into that in a second. You were saying that outside.
Yeah.
But you said something, actually said it twice. You sent me a personal DM about this. You said, I don't ever want to imagine my life without being involved in this community you've created. The financial education and intelligence that you guys teach is honestly fucking insane. This probably would never happen, but I wish it was taught in high school, because if more teenagers took on board the financial principles, what you guys teach, so many people would be far better off in life. Anyway, thanks, man. I honestly can't thank you guys enough for helping me like you all have along the way in my journey. Looking forward to continuous journey. I didn't want to include the helping part because it sounds like I'm just trying to tell you that we've helped you, whatever. At the end of the day, you've done what has happened. We've told you, we've guided you, but at the end of the day, we tell this to everyone, and not everyone does what you've done.
Yeah.
Like Platinum Pete, we've helped him.
Yeah.
He's done it.
Yeah.
You have to change your life. You have to do the actions you said.
Yeah.
You have to stop eating shit. So why is the community so like to the point where if it went, what would that mean for you? Like, why is it so important in your life?
Well, I guess because it's I have done the work, but because it's been so closely contributed to the changes that I've made, and I often look back on this and I probably could have made those changes without you guys. I could have, but I wasn't. And when I since I have been with you guys, it's happened, and you guys have played such a massive pivotal part in that. And it's mainly just the mindset stuff, which I know we'll get more into a bit later in this. So it would be hard, like if you guys stopped doing this or you closed the business down, well, yeah, I'd have to just get over it, and
You'd hopefully be better off now.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
maybe 6 months ago, no.
Yeah, absolutely. I would be better. I'd know. I'd at least, if you guys disappeared, at least I would have the knowledge that you've shown me, and the mindset stuff, which I think is applicable in every area of life, especially all financial decisions. Like I'm noticing myself anytime I buy something or spend money, I'm thinking upside, downside, negative EV, positive EV.
Nice. That's honestly cool to hear. We want that.
And sometimes I do people's heads in, like family and friends and stuff, and they say, well, what the fuck are you doing? It's just a pink donut, you idiot.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard one because a lot of people don't actually have those thoughts, and that's why it's so weird to them.
Well, they just don't.
Yeah.
You
they
know?
don't think.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. I think once you can think like that, you can't unthink like that.
Yeah. And I can't imagine myself ever going back to the old mindset. There's just like, why would I? There's just no point to that at all. So
yeah. Now, the music career, what has that, well, explain that firstly. Your 25 years of music.
Yeah.
Traveled around the world, whatever. Let's give us a spiel on that. Go tell your story.
Yeah. So I've been singing and playing guitar for 25, 30 years now. I've released about 9 albums now. I've probably done over 2,000 gigs across 17 countries throughout the world. I've averaged 100 to 130 gigs a year, all over Australia mainly and overseas for the last 10, 15 years. And music was the first thing I fell in love with in life. Like at the age of 3, I used to remember jumping around my parents' place with a squash racket, pretending to play guitar. And I started when I was 11, and I was fortunate enough to have a natural kind of affinity for playing guitar. I picked it up really easily. I could play by ear. And yeah, after stopping all my sports stuff when I was a teenager, I played state level basketball, had a rowing scholarship, and then I stopped that, and then I went just full on into the music, and it was what I wanted to do, what I was most passionate about. I've always been the sort of person that believes that life should be spent getting paid to do what you love to do, and removing the option to not do that. That sounds a bit extreme for most people, but that's just how my mind, I guess, has always worked and always will. So, music's given me a life. Like it's shown me the world. It's enabled me to live out my dreams and get paid to do what I love to do. It's a hard career. It's not all rainbows. It's especially now. It's getting pretty challenging with the whole economic situation and lots of venues closing and people, not having disposable income to go out and pay to see gigs, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I love it. I love playing. I love singing. I love writing songs. I love making records, and I love being in front of an audience. And I will continue to do it. Hopefully I can continue to make a living out of it. But if I don't, well, I've got match betting.
Yeah, which is cool. You were saying before, like now you've got an extra bit of, I guess, income or like a bit of something to fall back on top of the music.
Yeah, and that was something because all this betting stuff started for me in COVID. Yeah. I was out one night at my local pub in Lakes Entrance with my landlord, Greg, and we were watching a footy game and he rings up Sportsbet to put a live bet on. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, you got to call in your bets. And he spoke to me like he assumed that I knew what to do. I was like, call in your bets. Oh, you're putting a bet on the game because the Crows were playing. I'm a Adelaide Crows fan, and they were playing the Saints in up in Cairns, I think. And yeah, and I actually had a Sportsbet account that had been like 8 years since I used it. I always used to just bet on the Melbourne Cup. That was all I used to do. So the only time of the year I'd ever bet, I might put $100 on it. That would be it. And I had a Sportsbet account and rang them up and put a bet on, and it just went from there. And I just got deeper and deeper into the betting stuff, and then found you guys. And yeah, there's been a big journey with betting for me over the last sort of 3 years.
Yeah, because on the first call we ever had, June 2022, you actually wrote out your profit and loss. Yeah. You were $8,000 in the positive at that point.
Yeah,
but you were consciously aware that you had got full on lucky with the way you were betting. You said you put a $2,500 stake on Adelaide women to win the grand final.
Yeah.
And then a $1,800 stake on Melbourne to win the flag.
Yeah.
At $3.75 and $2.50.
Yeah.
Top of my head. But yeah, you like those stakes are huge.
Massive. Yeah.
Compared to probably the majority of the other bets you were doing.
Yeah.
Now, what happened? Like, how were you betting, and did you feel like you became addicted to that, or like, how did that happen? Talk about that.
It started with the higher stakes. Yes, I was also doing a few same game multis on NBA and AFL. They were always my thing, and I had a classic case of beginners gamblers luck. So the first year, I had about 50 grand in winnings, but I spent 40 doing it. So I was, 5 to 10K up at the end of that. And I was thinking, I'm on a winner here. But at the same time, that's why I got in touch with you guys. And I think it was Tom that I was talking to. I also said, look, that was the message. I think one of the things I said to him was, I know that what I'm doing is not going to be profitable long term because I'm just having a lot of luck here, and there's not really, man, I was doing fucking 20 leg same gamers on NBA, and I hit a few of them, and I was hooked. Like everything you say about how the bookies get you was fucking bang on, because I hit a few of these. One of them was 22 legs, and it was a $50 bonus bet, and I won like $1,900, and I thought I was king dick. And then they love it when you win because you're going to keep doing it, and I did that. And then
sure enough, you had a $5K win as well on that call.
Sorry,
you told me you had a $5,000 win. Is that?
Yeah, I had one weekend where I won $5,000 in a weekend on same game multis. There was an NBA. It was $150 stake of my own money and a $50 bonus. And it was about $5,000 on. It was a 19 or 20 leg NBA same game multi. That was the first one, and then I had two other AFL ones, which was all up. It was about $5,000.
What were you staking on those?
There was a $50 bonus on the NBA one, which won 1,900, and then there was 50 bucks on the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was around $50 that I was staking.
And then you were losing other ones for $50 as well, obviously.
Yep.
Now,
And smaller amounts as well. It
Yeah.
would just it was very random. It was just depend on whatever money I had made from music that month. I would put it into my sports bet, and if I had more money, I'd put a high stake on. If I had less money, I'd put $10 or $15. Yeah.
Yeah. So the amount of money in your bank account was determining how much you'd put on the bets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, after you win that money, obviously you were losing too. So like, talk about win.
Yeah.
Profit, I don't know what it was. You came to me saying it was 8. Did you like lose all of that, or what happened? Because
Eventually,
between like you started the other stuff in like November 2022.
the multis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the period of like, not talking about that, what happened in the next 14 months before you came to us again in July 2023?
I kept losing.
Yeah. Well, how much? Like little amounts or like thousands? You don't know.
I was doing it where it got to the worst point that it got to. I was doing lots of $10 same game multis on AFL, and I got to the point I was losing about $500 a week doing that. That was the worst point it got to, and I know for sure I didn't track it closely, unfortunately, but I know full well that I would have, that profit that I'd had in the first year would have gone, and I would have been down. I would have been at a loss, and I got to a point where I was like, right, I can't keep losing this money. This is because when I started this stuff, I always knew how important it was to bet with what you can afford to lose. I knew that, and I was always pretty good at that. But then a few wins got me excited and got me just chasing that dragon even more.
That type of thing that you've just said would 100% happen to a lot of gamblers, so you're not alone there. Just before we get on with it, I wanted to jump in and say, if you are listening to this and enjoying it, make sure you do subscribe. And before we get on to what you're about to discuss, Mike, we do want to say here at The System that we do not encourage or condone what Mike's about to speak about. His strategy is completely gambling. And even though he does have some wins, as he's about to discuss, we do not encourage it. So I just wanted to jump in there and put a disclaimer. What were you about to say about losing your same game multis, Mike?
Yeah, I got to the point where I was losing about $500 a week on same gamers, and then I was like, right. And I did reach a tipping point where, I've got two options here. I can either just stop doing this all together, or if I'm going to keep doing this, I need to find a way where I can spend a lot less on the bet, but potentially win a lot more. So I created that futures multis strategy. That's the bulk of the 90,000 bets that I've done in the last 18 months. So I started doing that and allocating a maximum of $500 a month instead of a week, so a lot less, and just started putting lots of tiny bets on, 10, doing futures markets, because I saw the value that futures presented, getting on stuff like at the beginning of the season when the market's really loose and the bookies don't really know what's going to happen. So they're just trying to get as much money in that market as possible. So I was getting on the Celtics, my favorite NBA team, at $4 or $5 to win the championship. And then I saw other markets, other big sporting events doing the same thing. I thought, let's combine them and, create a position where 25 cents could become 15 grand. So that was the theory behind that. But yeah, that's been a lot of work.
Yeah. So the whole reason you did that was, is it fair to say you have an addictive personality?
Fucking oath.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Kind of what you were saying before about your music and not allowing the option of failure, things like that. That tells you that you're quite obsessive with whatever you do.
Yeah.
So I guess betting was always going to be a dangerous thing, and obviously the landlord cooked you a bit by having that call in front of you. But at least,
well, it all started with him. So and we're great mates. So he'll be watching this.
It's an interesting one though, because before that you didn't place a bet apart from the Melbourne Cup. Like what?
No.
so you're probably lucky that you hadn't come across betting earlier, because you may have
Yeah.
done it for 20 years.
Yeah. And I think just where I was at the time, it was in the middle of COVID and the music business was fucked and we lost all of our gigs and we were all pretty lost, as just wondering what to do. So it was the perfect kind of environment to start something like this, because it's like, well, this is new. It's exciting and I can win money. Cool. And I love watching sport. Awesome. You know, it just started there.
Yeah.
But, you know, it hasn't all been bad. I mean, yeah, a few weeks ago, I had some success with the multis and I'm now the wealthiest that I've ever been. It's still not a huge amount in the big scheme of things, but yeah, I've actually got more than, you know, 4 or 5 grand in the bank, and normally I've never got more than that. So it's nice, and I love being in this community. So we'll get back to that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I can talk about that now. Like, obviously, what you were doing has strategy to it, but it's not technically proven. So whatever you were doing, you were just hoping essentially for the last 18 months that something would pay off.
Well, yeah, and I know there were plenty of times where you and Tom were very critical of that and said it was negative EV, and all those times you guys told me that, even though I didn't want to agree with it at the time, I always went away from those calls thinking, yeah, they're fucking right. Like, how long is this going to take before I turn a profit, if ever? That was my thought. Unfortunately, I have turned a profit recently, but, you know, I needed a lot of things to happen my way for that to happen. And yeah, like, I don't want to keep doing that. I would much rather, you know, do mentorship and scale up the match betting, because it's what you guys do and what you guys teach with the match betting is just so much more practical. Well, so much more sensible.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to a couple of Tom's voice messages this morning when I was in the gym, and he was saying, look, like, regardless of whether this actually ends up paying more than you invested, you've invested how many hours? 2,500 hours. You said you've never ever put this much into something ever. Is that true? In this period of time or something? Or is that not fair?
Oh, I could probably say I've done that with my music. Yeah.
But I think it was like 2,500 hours in like 18 months.
It's been an insane. It has, look, it's taken over my life. Yeah.
And it's affected, I would say, your ability to follow the way we do things, because of the bankroll was I guess
cross collateralized.
Yeah, like we never ever wanted to be like, fuck your strategy, it's wrong, because we don't believe in it. It may work, but why we hated it and why we were so against it and telling you it's negative EVs, because you were doing this, and then what we know works here, which is our horse system and everything else, you were taking bits of money from here, depleting your bankroll to do this that's unknown, and maybe it's going to work, but this works. It's like, brother, invest your time and energy and money into this, because it's going to produce, like you've made like something like 57% ROI you quoted back in, I don't know, March or April. It may have gone up or down now, but like
on the futures,
no, on the horse system.
Oh, the horses,
from your initial investment to what's being produced. Now you haven't made, I would say you haven't made how much money match betting? 5, 10, not even. Okay.
I'd be close to 10K.
10K. So
it'd be 5 to 10K.
Yeah, like you're not coming on here making 6 figures like some of the people who have come on. Like this isn't about that. But what cooked you in that time was the fact that you were investing so much time and energy, and it was removing your ability to do this. And we're like, Mike, just delete this for now. Get rid of it, because it's cooking your ability to follow this. You're getting emotional about stuff that is not our fault. It's your fault for doing that. And you were aware of this on the call, self-aware enough to be like, yeah, okay, I don't want to be told this, but it's like, yeah, but we're going to keep telling you until you change it.
Sure.
Now you've got your payout, but now you're saying you don't want to keep doing it because it's what it's done to you taxing wise.
Well, yeah, like I'm 40,000 in profit now, but that's not all the some of that's system stuff as well.
Yeah. So say 30 at the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, most people will be like, oh, we'll keep doing it.
Well, yeah. And there is a part of me that is like that, but the more and more the the new Mike and the new mindset sort of kicks in, the more I just think that it's not sustainable for me to keep pushing this much time. Like I average placing 5,000 to 10,000 bets a month doing this stuff, and it's, you know, that's a fucking shitload of time. And even when you're not placing bets, you're looking at all the markets, you're trying to hedge them out, you're looking at the scores. You're just fully fucking addicted to it.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy. Regardless of how much I want to make, you know, like my target's 1 million by October. That's honestly what it is. And I could do that. But even if I do, it doesn't matter how much money I make. Great. The process of doing it is not sustainable if I want to do anything else with my life.
Yeah.
Whereas with what you guys do, you guys have a system that allows us to do whatever other shit we want to do in our lives. And we follow on a Wednesday, we follow on a Saturday, we turn our bonuses over, we just show up, and it's far more efficient than my futures multis. Doesn't require you to be on it every fucking day. And as obsessive as I am, like part of this, you're probably thinking, yeah, this works for you because you like doing this. And yeah, I do, but at the same time, I know that my futures multis strategy is not, I don't think it's going to be sustainable. And even if I do start winning a lot more, how long is Sportsbet going to let me get away with that for, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the smaller things I'd be worried about. I know Tom sent you something that he said you'd need X amount of things to happen for whatever. But it's interesting to hear all of that, because the way I see it, it's like, okay, this might work still, same as what I said before. It might work.
Yeah.
But if you were to invest that much time and energy into match betting, and you were to take things to a higher level than you were now, we know, and maybe you don't know, but I think you know now after watching a lot of the stuff and what other people are doing.
Yeah.
We know that if you invested that much time into it, you would guarantee yourself, like, you'd make 100K next year match betting. If you invested that much time into it, you would make 100K in 12 months.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
And you're investing probably a quarter of the amount of time and effort, maybe even a tenth of the amount of time and effort.
Yeah.
Your brain isn't like 7 days a week trying to like look at every possible sporting event that's happening. All these factors outside of profit and loss that you've now been self-aware enough to identify.
Yeah.
Maybe even relationship with Sarah probably was influenced, spending too much time. Your kids, I don't know, I don't speak for you, but maybe your weight, I don't know, your eating, like this probably all contributed to that.
Yep.
So, yeah, like, do you reckon that's contributed to, like, when you say you're 156 kilos?
Yep.
What are you now? Do you mind sharing?
144.
Yeah, so it's going down.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is 156 the worst ever?
157.
157, yeah.
That's the heaviest I've ever been.
And like, has this been something that has been recently that you got to that, like before the last 6 months, or has it just been like around 150 and then it suddenly went up? Or
it went up like throughout like December, January, February, that last Christmas period, just eating shit and drinking too much, all that. Prior to that, it was sort of high 140s, hadn't quite cracked over to 150, but yeah, after a few months of just living like a total fucking pig.
Is that from this? From what would you put that down to? From the futures multis or no? That's
I was doing the multis. I was putting, that was like the other night I looked back at my statements because I track all the multi, like how many bets I put on each month. And yeah, I was in January this year, I put on 11,000 bets in that 1 month.
Yeah. And that's when you got to the sort of around the worst in Feb. Yeah. That's the biggest month in terms of number of bets. 11,000.
Yeah. That would be the biggest.
How many hours is that in a month?
Fuck, man. I don't know. It's
like, because you don't work as a 9 to 5. Like your work is a musician. Like you're doing shit, but like it's not a classic.
Yeah, and I haven't been touring as much in the last sort of year or so, so I've had a lot more available time, which has allowed me to, you know, spend hours each day hedging out futures multis and putting them on. So, but yeah, that that's definitely something I was doing when I was really unhealthy.
Yeah.
Because it's all too easy to just stay in bed and put bets on. And before you know it, it's midday and you're like, fuck, maybe I should get out of bed. And then there's that part in your brain that goes, no, I'm working, I'm making money here. When I wasn't, I was putting a lot of bets on with the view to make money, but there was no guarantee that I was going to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so you had your $40,000 collect or whatever over the
35 grand last
Yep.
week. I had 4 or 5 positions get up. The biggest one I turned I turned a 25 cent 10 leg multi into 15 grand.
Yeah. Okay. And then from there, you then went on a bit of not a bender, but like you've been on a high. Like you've sent us videos of yourself like crying or saying you were crying. You've sent videos like, but after that, obviously there is a bit of euphoria there.
Massive. Yeah.
You've then sent me and Tom sort of similar messages. He's had a couple of voice messages back to you. You said, and we can take this out if you don't want to.
No, leave it in, man.
You said, I really need to stop drinking for a while, thinking of maybe heading to a rehab facility. The mania from winning all this money is honestly insane. Drinking really doesn't help that, of course. Seriously considering stopping betting after the current cycle of multis finishes in October. I need to improve how I control and handle my emotions with all this. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I remember sending that. That was.
Were you drunk?
I was probably still drunk.
Or was at 1 o'clock?
I was hungover.
Yeah.
But I was at the Park Royal at Melbourne Airport. I was there with my daughter. We'd just come back from Adelaide. Or I'd just come back from Adelaide. She'd come back from Queensland. And I had to book a couple of nights there because I was too smashed and too hungover to drive home. And that was I think when I sent that was the come down of that period of mania. I know we haven't discussed this, but a few years ago I got diagnosed with bipolar type 2 disorder. So that's, for those who don't know what bipolar is, it's highs and lows, depression, mania, and you just bounce around with your mood and your emotions and all that sort of stuff. I'm better at managing the mania side of things now than what I ever used to be, because I've had a lot of treatment over the years, psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, personal development courses, match betting courses, all that sort of stuff, which has really helped. But yeah, winning all that money, definitely that was honestly the strongest period of mania that I've ever had. It was like, I don't know, I haven't done cocaine for a few years, but I used to enjoy it. I would liken that to snorting 10 grams of coke in 5 minutes. You'd probably be dead after that if you did that. But
yeah, I personally, you're kind of speaking to the wrong person when it comes to drugs.
Yeah.
But I understand what happens to the brain in that situation, and I can understand
the high was insane, but it was also very dangerous, and it was scary.
Yeah. Okay.
It was quite terrifying, actually. So, yeah.
So, okay, what's the plan now? Because let's delve into the drinking a bit. Has that been something you've done your whole life?
Yeah, look, ever since I was pretty good in my teenage, because in my teenage years I was an elite athlete. I had a rowing scholarship, played state level basketball. I was always very fit, very healthy. I didn't go to parties and shit like my mates did and drink when I was a teenager. The drinking really didn't start for me until I started touring in music, around the age of sort of 23, 24, when I would go on the road, interstate touring, going to, first one was Tassie, then we'd go to WA, and we went all over Australia, the old band that I had. And yeah, I just got fully immersed in this lifestyle of my workplace is a bar and it's all free. And I'm getting paid and I get free drinks. Like, fucking sick. And when you're 23, 24 years old and you get to experience that, and you're playing 5 nights a week, traveling the country, playing the music that you love, getting paid to do it, always around alcohol, and couple that with my obsessive, addictive personality, yeah, that's probably going to be a recipe for trouble. And yeah, the drinking started there, then it just got progressively worse, and it's been an addiction, absolutely.
Yeah,
still is, and I'm better at managing it. Like I can go, like a few years ago, I did a whole year sober, which was great. I just drank non-alcoholic beer, and it's been a hard one to manage, and I need to get better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a break, or are you good?
No. Let's keep going.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, push through.
So this is like, when I see this, I want to, like, I'm not a fucking psych, right? But
I reckon you could be, man.
yeah. So I personally think that I can help anyone with anything, and it's weird. I don't know. People call me an idiot sometimes. I get a lot of hate on like Twitter and stuff. Oh, you're not a fucking psychologist. It's but I do understand what to say to people, and I have this uncanny ability to be able to get through to people really well. And I've known that since I was like 15, 16. I used to send diets to people and try to change people's mindsets randomly. I used to be passionate about that. And even I was an osteopath, so I've studied this shit as well. Not psychology, but I have studied the human body. And even though I didn't hate, but I wasn't passionate about osteo, I always enjoyed helping people. And that's why I was good at it. Because people would come into me, hey, I've got knee pain. They're 140 kilos. No one else has told them that they need to lose weight because their knee's putting more force through it because they're overweight. Tell them they want to have to lose weight. No one else has told them that. So like, you get through to them faster, they lose weight, they have no knee pain. So me hearing that, it's like, well, I don't know anything about alcoholism or whatever.
You don't drink, do you?
No.
Have you ever drunk?
Yeah, I've drank, but I don't personally enjoy that. I don't enjoy like social settings that much. I hate loud music. Like, I like being able to speak to someone like this, a massive introvert, whatever. So like, I can't relate to drinking alcohol or doing drugs, whatever, but I can relate to the addictive nature of things because I have an addictive personality, and I channel that into work and whatever, gym. When I was younger, I used to just be obsessive with my training and my diet, whatever.
Did you play a lot of footy?
I've played footy until this year, and I'll probably go back next year. Like, I'm still playing until this year's my first year. I haven't played.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm 31, but I'm not. I want to, like, when I see that, I'm like, well, fuck, I want to help Mike stop drinking alcohol. And it's like, I know Tom's the same because he sent you voice messages.
He has. Yeah,
and like, he would have probably helped you the same, if not more than me, throughout this whole journey as well. Like, we've both been at you to, like, it's like, why the fuck are we replying to this guy over and over again when we don't need to? It's because we want to help you. That's honestly the truth. Like, we wouldn't waste our time.
Really appreciated that, man.
But now I sit here and think, well, I want to help you stop drinking alcohol if that's what you want to do, because I think if we try to do that, we could do that. Yeah. But I don't know, like, are you seeking help for that stuff, or like, are you got plans for that? Do you have goals?
Yeah, I've got like a session lined up with a counselling service back in Bairnsdale, near where I live. I live in Lakes Entrance. That's happening next week, so I'm going to get back into counselling. It's not rehab. I'm still looking around at sort of rehab options and considering giving it a go. I'd like to think that I could do this without that.
There's no shame in going to rehab. I don't know. Like, I've had mates who've gone to rehab for drugs, but not for alcohol.
Yeah. But yeah, the counselling will definitely help. And also I think if I can maintain my training schedule, like I went into the gym last night with Sarah and just smashed out a bit of a session. We just did some bench and upper body stuff, like not a full session, but I hadn't gone for like 2 weeks. Felt so fucking
because
good.
of the multis, or just the whole
multis and drinking and just getting swept up in that euphoria of, like, I won $35,000 in a week, and I'd never had anywhere near that much money in my entire life. And there's that euphoria that comes with that, and there's that whole high of, fuck, this system that I've created and been devoted my life to for 18 months, it's working, fucking amazing. And there's a real euphoria that comes with that. And if you combine that with drinking, it's pretty dangerous.
Is there a bit of like ego as well?
Massive.
Like trying to prove people wrong, and maybe not us, but like just beating,
not you guys,
beating sports bet or fuck you, like sort of thing.
There's that, and fuck, we all are smashing the bookies. Yeah. Especially in this community, but yeah, the ego play, and I guess being in music all my life, I've dealt with people as, there's no money in music. And, I'll show you. Fuck you. And there's that.
So you're like a chip on your shoulder almost permanently.
Yeah, that's still there. Not as bad as what it used to be. It used to be real bad. I used to have a lot of anger, especially towards the music industry, because it hadn't made me rich and famous like I felt I deserved to be when I was younger, you know. But yeah, there is that ego, fuck you, I'm going to prove you wrong in me. Absolutely. And it's, you know, there can be positives in that, but I don't know. I think there's more negative, because it allows you to get too swept up in the glory of it, and that just distracts you from the process of actually doing the thing you did to get there. You know, if you parade around like some fucking big wanker, even if you have gone and fucking made a lot of money or had a hit record or whatever, even if you have done that, like, enjoy the moment, but don't get too caught up in it. And that's been my challenge, I guess. Be
humble, I guess.
Well, yeah, be humble and be just back. Like, I'm a big believer in the saying, focus on the process, not the result. Yep. And I'm saying that as someone I've been very results obsessed for a lot of my life. And it's only recently that I've fully embraced more of, I mean, I've always been a hard worker, and I've always understood that, it's more so about the process than the result. But I think only recently I've fully embraced that kind of mindset properly. Yeah. But yeah, last week was pretty full on.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, hopefully you can sort that out. You also mentioned, again, we don't have to talk about this, but you said you've had your mental health battles. Obviously, you said the stuff about the bipolar. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this relates. I think it does too. You said you had thoughts of suicide throughout your life.
This was probably 12, 13 years ago. I was 28, 29. I'd released 4 albums. I toured America twice. Like, I'd done some cool shit in music, but I was still broke and still was not where I wanted to be. I felt I deserved to be rich. I felt I deserved to be extremely famous. I wasn't any of those things. And I just thought it was over. Like, I was 29. I was living in a share house in Brunswick at the time. And yeah, I was done. I used to think about it. I used to plan it. I never had any attempts of taking my life, but I was convinced that it was over. And this was obviously before I'd gotten married, before I'd had kids, all that. And my mum knew about this at the time, because I used to send her messages saying, I just want to die. And she was right on to organising me a counsellor through the Vietnam Veterans Counselling Service. My dad served in Vietnam. So after that war, they saw how fucked up the soldiers were with PTSD after it. They set up a national counselling service for veterans and their direct families to access for free, national service. I had a counsellor for 10 years, and that was life-changing. You know? So I've always been a big believer in seeking help, and that's, you know, one reason I approached you guys. Like, I wanted help. I wanted to get better at, I wanted to learn match betting, and I wanted to not just learn match betting, but as I got deeper into the community and getting to know you got, like, watching all your content that you, Tom and Steve, do, just the mindset stuff and the psychology that I really love and value the most. So learning all of that stuff is me reaching out for help, because I want to get better at this.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that can help people, and I'm sure you could speak in more depth about those times. But if you are someone out there that needs help, obviously listen to Mike and reach out for help, because it's there, and it's probably never been easier to get help. It's just a lot of people, unfortunately, don't ask for it and then end their lives.
I think you've got to recognise the problem.
Yeah.
And be aware of your mood, and when you are feeling down and you are feeling depressed or feeling lost or lonely, actually acknowledge it. I think a lot of people get so swept up in that negative emotion that they feel they can't do anything about it and they don't talk to anyone. And I think you've got to recognize it. If you recognize it, then you can get yourself into a mental position where you're open to the possibility of seeking help.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get out of those thoughts? You said you were 29.
Oh, a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. To get rid of them where they didn't come into my mind at all anymore. Yeah, it was a few years of counselling and exercise as well. I think exercise is the best antidepressant there is on the planet. I think it smashes any fucking drug or pill, or there's so many quick fixes around these days for that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You can't beat exercise.
Yeah, I think I was involved somewhat in the, I guess, medical world.
As an osteo.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of I don't want to speak for all practitioners, I don't really care, to be honest, but there's a lot of shit GPs out there that just recommend like pills, and the whole industry is built off the financial gain of that instead of, okay, like for example, you being recommended statins for your blood pressure.
Yeah.
That will help, but it's actually like potentially detrimental, and you're not actually addressing the cause. When I studied, we're taught to address the cause of the problem rather than put band-aids over shit. Yeah. So it's like the same with this. It's probably why I'm good at psychology in terms of like helping people. It's like address the root of the problem rather than just like, oh, I got a sore leg, rub his leg. It's like it might be coming from the hip or the ankle or whatever, or the emotions. Yeah. But fuck, I've lost my train of thought. But what was I saying? Oh, Western medicine. It's like go to the gym, lose 20 kilos through cutting out shit. Make it like go get vitamin D, go spend time with people that you like and get endorphins that way and do those things. Yeah. That's health, not pill. Yeah. So it's like 100%. It's a hard one because a lot of people unfortunately don't even have that consciousness and or the support that helps that.
Well, we live in such a quick fix culture. You know, I mean, you only got to look at punters. Like they all want to win $2,000 off their fucking $10 same game multi, and they want to do it every weekend, but they can't. No one does that.
Well, some people do. Well, that's the thing, and that's why they do it, because they see potentially someone doing it, so they think that's going to be them. Yeah. And there has to be someone who has done it, otherwise there wouldn't be someone doing it. But yeah, it's not consistently happening.
Not consistently every week.
Well, but you said they want people to win before. You actually said Sportsbet wants you to win. Yeah. Because then you're going to do it more. Yeah. And then they know that's how the thing works. Yeah. But yeah, it's a hard one to comprehend, seeing people do it. And we spoke about on the first ever call, people in Facebook groups. Now you're in a couple, I think. I don't know if you still are.
Not now, because I removed myself from that one.
Oh yeah, you're having it. Actually, do you want to talk about that? Yeah. Yeah, actually, that wasn't on the plan, but you were in a Facebook group with a heavy betting affiliate who is an affiliate of, I don't know what he is now, but he used to be Ned's and Ladbrokes, and now he's probably double. Yeah. I know for a fact that affiliate was getting a 30% revenue share of all losses back in 2021 and 2022. Fucking hell. Even 2020. Yeah. We've spoken to him. He's a Platinum Squad member. He was part of the sports system last year. He was Horse System member. Like we've had even negotiations with him to pump our original Horse System into his group back in 2020. When we used to be called Trumpy's Tips. Yeah. But you were in there having a go at this guy because he like was pumping out these bets, having a go at people for big stakes or something, or not betting enough or something.
Huge stakes on, short price favourites for mainly horses, a bit of sport as well, but mainly horses on Saturdays. And we're talking, $100,000 stakes and only showing the winners. And I've seen him do this for ages, and I've said a few things to him in the past. Like I was a lot more subtle than what I was last Monday night when I went full rinse. Yeah. I prior to that, I said, show us your P&Ls, mate. And I'd never get a response. Yeah. And then I just went, I'd had a few drinks and I was pretty high after that win. And yeah, I fucking rinsed his ass. But
But you weren't aware that he was like, you probably weren't fully aware of how the affiliate model worked.
Oh, I knew he was an affiliate.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was telling him that in my comments, how much are Dabble paying you, mate?
Yeah.
And
but in terms of the figures, you probably had
no
idea.
I had no idea of that.
Yeah.
Like, that's the 30% revenue.
Well, it
Fuck
probably
me.
wouldn't be that now, but
Yeah.
it was for a company he was working with back in 2020.
Yeah.
And
Fucking
it's a crazy, like, it's
slimy,
the low.
Slimy fucking
It's the low of the industry. Like,
Yeah.
and we used to have these discussions with him. We're like, man, how do you do this? Like, how the fuck do you sit there and tell people to do this?
What was his response
He's
to
just
that?
like, well, he'd do like competitions where they'd give away like $200 or something.
Right.
And if you do certain thing, you get the $200. It's like, well, we run competitions, we give away money. It's like, no, but you're encouraging gambling and collecting a fee. You're like, oh, but they're going to do it anyway. So I'm just taking off what the bookies would take. I'm being a middleman for that. I'm just like, no, well, you're encouraging that behavior, and it wouldn't happen if you didn't do it, or it wouldn't happen as much if you didn't. Like putting $100,000 stakes on and showing someone win, like that's extreme. But he would do things like, I don't know, look at this big bet, fucking, this is a great bet, like, and then of course, dumb people are just going to get sucked into the cycle. It's the same as the same exact principle as like the Tim Nackey thing.
Yeah.
And obviously we copped a lot of hate for saying that, but it's just like, that's what the bookies love.
Yeah.
They want that.
Nice.
It's a hard one to comprehend that someone's living is like, he'd be making a couple of $100,000 a year every year for the past 2 or 3 years, maybe more. I'd say closer towards $500K a year off losing punters.
Yeah.
It's a hard one to comprehend, but I think they're pushing, I'm not sure, but the whole, the laws are changing on the affiliates. They're not allowing that stuff to happen as much. But it still happens. And obviously,
you know.
Yeah, it's a hard one to comprehend. Do you want to have a break or are you good?
No, we keep going.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying this, man. It's
cool. Great. All right. Well, before we dive into the next topic, just a reminder, please subscribe to the channel, whether you're listening to this or watching this. Now, a special message to anyone who's already part of the community. You might think that because we promote our content in our Discord and our Telegram and stuff like that, there's no point doing this. But if you could also give it a like and subscribe, that will help the algorithm. What that means is more people come across our content, more people get to experience the value of a community, and more people get to see the positive changes that they can make in their life. Now, Mike, I've got some things written down about your tendencies and traits through this whole thing.
Yeah.
3 things I've listed here. Now, you can apply this to other areas of your life. I think this is quite fair. You can disagree or agree. You have a fascination with studying things, sometimes studying meaningless shit. You have a curiosity with everything, and you question everything. Yeah. Now, would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think this is negative. I think it's good to be curious and it's good to be questioning things, because I don't trust anything until I will make my own agendas based off things that I think, and I'll just go with that. I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
For example,
what star sign are you?
Virgo.
Are you into that shit?
No.
Yeah, fair enough. All right.
But for example, I've never spoken about this ever on a podcast, but through the whole COVID thing, I didn't get vaccinated because I was against the agenda.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that was my vibe, and I question it. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I think you do the same thing. Even whether it's good, sometimes it's bad, because for example, you ask us, can I ask what exactly is the methodology behind tipping a $7.50 horse in a race with the favourite, which of course ended up winning, only paying $1.45. Yeah. Shit like that. And then you're sort of questioning things that you weren't fully aware of at the time. So that's the negative side of it, because okay, this works, man, but you're questioning it.
Yeah.
But have you felt that this curiosity or questioning everything has been a thing for your whole life? Have you always questioned things or been fascinated with how things work, studying things?
I've always been fascinated with mechanics of how things work. I've always been like that with the music business, because I've always sort of done it myself, and I've never really spent much of my career with managers or labels or being reliant on other people to do things for me. I've wanted to do it myself, but to learn how to do that, I had to develop a fascination for how do people get paid doing this shit? Just before I was making a living out of music, how do you make money out of this? Where does the money come from? I do like to follow money trails. I like to know where money comes from. I look for destinations of where is income coming from here? And that's always been a source of fascination for me, especially in business, but even not just business, other things in life. I'm as I've gotten older, I have become a bit more cynical and a bit more questioning of things. Yeah, more so now than ever before, because there's just so much fucking bullshit out there.
There is.
And I can't just sit there and ignore it. And sometimes I get myself into trouble and create scenes and get kicked out of fucking dumbass betting groups.
Oh, he kicked you out, did he?
I left.
Yeah, okay.
I left and blocked him because he kept messaging me saying, he's just being a fuckwit. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the fascination with business and money and stuff, I think everyone should have that. It's unfortunate that a lot of people don't.
Well, yeah, one of my messages that you brought up before, like, it's something I feel very strongly about. Like, if you look at the situation we're in now, we have a cost of living crisis with so many people, well-qualified people, professional people that earn six figures a year and they're fucked. Like their mortgage has gone up, their bills are going up, they're spending more than they earn, and they're fucked. And they spend their whole life just working to get into more debt. And no wonder they got fucking alcohol problems. No wonder they got drug problems. No wonder they're just grossly unhappy. And I think the only solution to all this, and this is going to get worse before it gets better, because inflation's not going to stop. Shit's going to keep increasing in price, and wages just aren't going to keep up with it. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I hate saying that, but that's just fully what's going to fucking happen here. The only way that we can create any type of macroeconomic solution here is there needs to be financial education implemented into primary and high school. There needs to be exposure to knowledge about not just earning money, but how to save it, how to invest it, how to make it work for you, how to learn some of the shit that rich people do, because rich people have enough money where their money just makes money. And if they know what they're doing, their money makes money. Why can't all of us learn to do that shit, even if it's on a smaller scale? You know, I'm not saying we're all going to be multimillionaires. We don't have to be that. But if we can learn financial principles around saving and investing to learn how to make money work for ourselves. I'm not saying we stop working. Like still go to work, still run a business, whatever you got to do. But so many people out there, and it breaks my heart. They're just totally dependent and reliant on that one job or that one business that's losing money in many cases. And if they lose that job, they're fucked. They're already fucked. And it's just like, we could fix all this with education, and it would take a while. It'd probably take 10 to 15 years before you start seeing any type of macro effects or results of it, but it's the only way out. And this is another reason I love you guys, because you guys are financial education and investing education, I think, more so, and psychology, more so than match betting. And it's just fucking elite. Like, you know, why can't you guys be in schools?
Well, as a business, I appreciate all those kind words. I mean, like, people will be sitting here thinking we're just here to tell Mike to tell us how good we are, but we don't want,
No.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
Like, this is not about that. But we honestly do. Like, our brand has moved away from match betting and riding horses and all that. That's why this agenda has stopped around celebrating it. We don't want to be known as these young dudes who just bet or teach people how to bet.
Yeah.
Our brand probably won't happen for the next 2 or 3 years, but like, we want to be known as people who change lives and change mindsets. And we want to be known as, like, literally worldwide, that we can do what you said, like change education around money, change education around how you think, change how you manage your emotions. All of this shit can just be instantly applied to other areas of life.
Totally.
We do want to get into schools, maybe. We do want to get into financial education on a more, I guess, professional level. Well, I don't think we'll ever want to become financial advisors, but I think you would agree that if you teach someone how to do something or how to think a way, you then don't have to micromanage everything. It's like, teach someone how to fish, they can go and fish. If you tell them exactly how to do certain things, they don't actually think, and then they don't actually learn.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, Mike, change the way you do this, change the way you do that. Okay, then Mike goes and starts going to the gym. Mike changes his diet. Mike starts thinking about his habits. Mike realizes he's self-aware enough to know that behaviors are shit, get rid of them.
Yeah.
He then makes the life change. We would like to implement this whole system, I guess you want to call it that, into everything like that. Into teenagers, into whatever, like.
Especially teenagers, especially young
males,
men.
Yeah.
Because I think the young blokes, you know, like every time I go to like Sarah and I have been going to the footy a bit more this year. She's a Collingwood supporter. Don't hold that against her. I do, but and it's sad, man. Like all the young kids there are on their fucking sports bet, putting on the same gamer, and some like the last we went to the Big Freeze game, and all right, I had a few drinks, so I was feeling a bit cocky, and I find some little kid. You know, he might have been 18, 19, and he's sitting next to his mate that's 18, 19, and they're pulling out this sports bet. And I was sitting behind him at the ground, and I was like, I'm bored. I need some entertainment. So I'm like, mate, how much? What? Show us your legs. Show us your legs, brother. What? Yeah. How much you put on that? Only $10. It's not enough. You should have put more, mate. Like, you know, win some more. You know, he's, oh, yeah, I think you're right. You know, yeah, fair enough. I said, how much do you bet a week, mate? Oh, not that much. You know, it's just for a bit of fun. Oh, you like donating to the bookies every week? Oh, it's not donating. It's just a bit of, and then he started getting, and then I thought, okay, I'll maybe push this kid a bit too far. So, I said, you know, let me show you a fucking multi. And I showed my 25 cents into 15 grand. That's how you fucking do it. And then I just went to the bar and had another drink.
Yeah. I mean, you could have gone in a better way there to explain. But obviously that was just a bit of an ego thing from your end.
Oh, totally, man.
Whatever. But yeah, no, like I went to the footy. I used to go to the footy like every single North Melbourne game until I was maybe like 2015. I started
You're a
going.
North fan?
Yeah, North.
Yeah,
like fully went to every single match like that I could. Went to every final that we ever played, like interstate as well. Went to Perth, cried in the prelim in 2015.
Yeah.
Went to Sydney twice, cried in the didn't cry, elimination final. Semi-final, won and a prelim, got smashed. So I went by myself, like I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Then I got to a point where I'm like, I am not letting this emotionally control my life. And North won, I think, 10 out of the first 11 games in 2015.
Yeah.
Or 2016. Yeah, 2016. And I'm like, no. I'm getting too emotionally charged. I'm turning it off.
Yeah.
And like now I don't care if they win or lose. Like recently they've had a couple of wins and I've enjoyed seeing them win, but like it doesn't affect my life.
Yeah.
So, but we went to the footy last year and I went with Laura and we're just looking in front of you. It's like every third person has their app open at half time with like all these legs. Like, brother, we are living in a hypnotic nation that is just fully conned. Like they're just on, it's like watching a psyop in front of you and they're not even aware of it.
Yep.
And yeah, the kids are getting exposed. I've told this story. My sister had a party on the weekend. She's having a baby and my little cousin who's 14, he's in year 9.
Yeah.
People in his class bet on Sportsbet. They're 14. They're using their parents' accounts. And it's like that. Yeah, that's what's happening. Like you have a young kids. Like Sarah's,
I've got a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. Sarah's got some kids.
Yeah, like they're not young. Like yours are probably too young.
Yeah.
But like how old's 18?
My kids are 10 and 8. Sarah's got 17.
The bench press one. 17.
He's 17.
Yeah, like he would, if you asked him.
He's following you guys now.
Yeah, I mean, as in like watching.
Yeah. And he wants to join when he turns 18.
Awesome. But like if you asked him, I guarantee in his class there'd be people at his school or wherever he surround himself.
They are.
Like that is.
They fully are.
Like it's no longer like you get to 18 and it starts. It's happening now at 14. And once that happens for 3 or 4 years, you're in a cycle that it's really hard to break. It might take you a decade to get out of it. You might never get out of it.
Yeah.
And it's like really scary to see this stuff happening. I don't know where, from the footy. Yeah. Like it's just like, wow, this is actually happening so bad. It's like a plague. Yeah. And then like other people out there are just like, nah, it's not that deep, whatever. And it's like, no, it is. It's actually deep because you're getting fucking manipulated.
The biggest load of shit, and you expose this a lot, and I love you for this, amongst other things. I'll stop blowing sunshine out your ass for a minute. But the biggest load of shit that I hear, and you hear, we all hear, is, it's just a bit of fun. Like, fuck off. It's a bit of fun. You like losing money every week with your stupid fucking bets and your same game multis. Oh, it's only $10. Yeah, you do that 52 times a year. It's not $10. It's 52 times 10.
Yeah, but it'll be more than that too.
Yeah.
It'll become more than 10, and it'll become not just one a week. It'll become 5 a week.
Yeah.
And then it becomes 250, and then it becomes $20 average, and then it becomes 100, and then it's like, okay, I've lost 30K.
Yeah. There you go.
It's hard. It's hard.
If it wasn't for them, could we do what we do?
No. This is exactly. It's like, well, we used to shy away from saying this, but now we don't care. Like, you are providing an opportunity for people like us who lived off it, set up my life from it, and people in the community right now, 1,400 people doing it, plus probably thousands of other people outside of our community that are doing it.
Yep.
I was thinking today, I was in the shower, I'm like, well, how much money would our community make every year? And I put a figure on it, it'd be in the vicinity, I'd say, of 20 to 50 million, right?
Yeah.
That is not us, that's our members.
Yeah.
Right? That is just paid members. That is not free members. It's not other people outside of match betting. But let's just say our community is making 20 million in a year, go to the bottom end.
Yeah.
The fact that is, like, if you're internally looking at our community, that's a lot. Like, you're so consumed by that, but it's so minute. The bookies make billions.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Now, like, 1 billion is 1,000 million.
Yeah.
And we're making 20, and the bookies make billions.
Yeah.
Right? This is off pokies, this is off Tats Lotto, this is off, like, sports betting, this is off racing.
Oh.
So, like, we're fucking dropping the ocean, actually. And you actually asked us a question, I think, within a week of ever coming across us. I think I've got the question here. You said, are you guys concerned that as your community keeps growing and there are going to be more punters using this system profitably, that the bookies will clamp down more on it?
Yeah.
I mean, that was in 2022. We've kind of always said, oh, fuck, if the promos, like, they could take away the promos, like, this is in 2021, like, how long are the promos going to last? And so it's like, well, last year there was an inquiry. We were getting told we're going to be working in retail within a few months. Like, people just fucking got nothing else to do. It's like, brother, the promos, I personally think, are not going anywhere. And if they do, there will always be more opportunity because, like you said, there are always going to be people losing their money.
Yeah.
Because of the way they think.
Back when you were doing it in your prime, were the promos just ridiculous compared to what they are now?
They were ridiculous because they were uncapped on sport. So, for example, I don't know if you've seen, like, the World Cup podcast we did.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
So, like, you could put 20 grand on Richmond. This is AFL as well, but you could put 20 grand on Richmond paying $2.50 against Adelaide in the grand final, for example. I actually did this. They were paying $1.80 or something, or maybe $2. I had a $30,000 potential early payout on Richmond and like $29,800 on Adelaide.
What was your stake? 20.
No, it was around a $2.20 to $1.80. So it would have just a two-way Dutch, but on huge stakes.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I'm not gambling. I'm doing an early payout, right?
Yeah.
Hoping that one of them leads by 20, I get paid out. And then if that reverses, or if it gets back to a backable where that team, for example, leads by 20, I get paid out the full amount, 30K.
Yeah.
And then they get back to a point of like maybe $1.50 where the other team kicks a couple of goals back. I can then re-back that team knowing I've already been paid out 30K.
Yeah, okay.
I go again, I make the difference.
Yeah.
Or I press cash out, which I did back then.
Yeah.
But the fact was I could put an unlimited amount of money on those bets and the promotion was uncapped. So I could put 100K on Richmond. If they lead by 20, I get paid out, if they're paying $2, 200K.
Hell.
And if that reverses and Adelaide wins, I've made 100K. Now, this is where the difference in the promotion was, because not a lot of people were doing match betting back then. They could have these.
Yeah.
Now that's more easily exploitable because it's easy to two-way Dutch.
Yeah.
Right? People work out how to two-way Dutch.
Yeah.
To exploit a racing promotion or a same-game multi-promotion, which is what they're pushing now, punters need to be smarter to be able to use that. One, most people don't have the discipline to keep doing a system where they're just backing, e.g. our horse system. Two, they don't have the bankroll. Three, the management, and then they don't have the edge because they gamble the bonus.
Yeah.
But that is easier to take advantage of versus, and again, you could do the horse promo method as well where you're laying, but that's easier to take advantage of than the one leg fails or the guaranteed bonus back promotion, because as well as that, on the same game multi-promotion, this is why we have a sports system. It's very, very hard to find a system within that. Even if you're getting guaranteed bonus bets back, people end up gambling because of the way those things are designed. It's designed for you to become addicted to that. As you know, you've been victim of that.
Yep.
through the 2022, 2023, whatever.
Yep.
That is, okay, we can give them a bit of edge, but like we know that the majority of people are just going to throw the edge away, eventually become addicted, and we're going to get their money in the end.
Yeah.
So it's like the promos now, they wouldn't be able to do what was back in 2016, 2015 because people are now more numerous with match betting. However, people don't actually understand this. It's actually as easy to make money now off match betting than it was back in 2015. It's just different.
Yeah.
That's why like people say, oh, but it's not the same as it was. It's not, but it's still as lucrative and as big an opportunity. And that's why people in the community are making 30, 40K a month at the extreme end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's different, but there's still opportunity because of the fact that just people are dumb and stupid and lose their money.
Yeah.
And yes, they do provide that opportunity to us.
Yeah.
The only reason people can do this is because people lose. It's the same with anything like Forex, stocks, crypto, the top
be
people
losers for this
make
to be
money,
winners.
literally.
Yep.
So it's a hard one. Once you kind of understand that, it's like, well, how do I not become a loser? You don't do the dumb shit that they want you to do. And
I've always loved your emphasis on stopping losing.
Yeah, well, you said that in some. I've got somewhere in here,
and I think that's fucking elite because no one really thinks enough about that.
Yeah.
You used Djokovic as an example once in one of your podcasts, best tennis player in the world because he loses the least. Because as typical, the mug punters in us, we're all fucking stroking our cocks about winning more, but we forget to think that it's actually not as much about, it's about losing less. And I love that you are always emphasizing that. And I think that's really, really important to,
Yeah. I mean, if a little bit, like you said, people only think of winning more to make money.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, I used an example on a live once. This is a bit deeper. But if you, for example, wanted to get a body fat percentage of 10%, people don't actually understand that if you increase your muscle mass, you actually decrease your body fat percentage.
Yeah.
Without losing any fat.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a different example, but it's like if you are 140 kilos and you have, 60 kilos of muscle in that 140 and you increase that to 70, but you don't touch the amount of fat you have, you're gonna actually weigh more now.
Yeah.
But you have a higher percentage of muscle mass compared to, and then your percentage of fat has gone down without touching it.
Yeah.
And it's like punters don't think about how do I make more, but they think of, so when they think of that, I need to make more. It's like, well, what if I lose less? If you lose less, you make more.
Yeah.
People actually don't like us when we say that. It's like,
yeah.
This guy has made an extra $2,000 a month because at the end of a 12-month period, he's not down 24K because he stopped losing 2K.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he hasn't made anything.
Yeah.
It's like, he hasn't made anything, but he's $24,000 better off. So, technically he has made 24K.
He has made.
His net position is plus 24K. But I don't have anything else to discuss with you. I think I've been through everything.
Yep.
I guess Tom sent through a question before. He's obviously overseas.
Yeah.
He hasn't provided any questions because he just backed me in here, but he asked me, and we kind of already did this already. He said, what would your life be if you didn't find this community? I think, have we touched on that? Would you want to answer that again, or do you?
Shit, that's a good one. I don't know, man. Fuck. Without the system, certainly not at the level that it's at now. I don't know where I would have got the mindset stuff. I could have learnt match betting. I've looked at your competitors and, like seeing what they offer. I've not signed up with any of them because why bother? I stay loyal to you guys. I could have learnt that stuff, but I don't think I would have learnt the mindset psychology sort of stuff that you guys teach. What would it be like? It wouldn't be as good. I honestly believe, not just kissing your ass. It might sound like that, but yeah, it wouldn't be as good without you guys. I just love the personal involvement. Like you really give a shit about members, and you're able to personalize your service and your education and your teachings to them. And you've done this with me. And I've often wondered, when I've been a big fucking sook and all that, I thought these guys are going to tell me to fuck off any day. And I'm sure you probably wanted to at times. But I stuck around, and I'm thankful that I stuck around. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Yeah, man, my life wouldn't be, I don't think it'd be as good without you guys.
Yeah, but is it us or also the people? Like, surely, I don't want you to say it's just us. Like the community.
Yeah, no, it's the people as well, because you, Tom, and Steve, because we see so much of you guys on all your podcasts and your lives and all the content you guys do is awesome. I've watched everything that you've released, some numerous times over as well, especially like the platinum stuff. It's good to revisit that. Yeah, it's you guys, and also I love how you involve the community. You get them in to do, things like this, so we can hear, like Platinum Pete. I love his story. That's great. The journey that you guys have, and just seeing him talk about it. I'd love to meet that bloke, and I can, not here to promote drinking, but have a beer with him. But we wouldn't have to have a beer. We could just hang out. Yeah, things, because it's so real. Like you see the people in the flesh. You get him in here. You do the home visits as well. I love that powerlifting dude, your mate. Yeah. You went to his house and he was getting emotional. He reminded me a bit of myself. Maybe one day you guys should come down to Lakes and I can demonstrate the emotional mic, and I'm fucking jumping on walls and I'm like a gorilla on fucking smack, mate.
Well, actually, you said we were going to end it, but you said something about like you running. I just remembered you ran out of your house and did something in the backyard or something. Where did you write that? I reckon I was in a Discord. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What did you write?
I ran out of my house, like banging like when you guys are riding winners and I stole the goal. I'd run around my house doing that shit when a runner would get up at fucking Randwick or Flemington, whatever. Yeah. Because I was just like, back when you guys were doing that sort of stuff, I loved it, and then I just started copying it. Yeah, at home.
I mean, I when we say like sports bets created a psyop, we want to create a psyop for the opposite of that, and I think we have. And it's getting, but it needs to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
You're to the point where doing that. But yeah, it needs to get bigger. Like, I greatly admire the conquest that you guys have set out on and continue. Like, I don't know if I could do what you guys do, trying to drum into these fucking idiots how to think. Like, do you have days when you're just full blown exhausted, want to fucking put your head through a wall?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but for us, it's like, it's a bit of a, like, it's to the point now where it's our life.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this morning, my fiance bought a system canvas for the room.
I saw that.
I walked in and I'm like, yeah, right. Like that video I posted was like fully raw, and I'm like, yeah, this is like, she's bought into that now. She's accepted that. That's me. That's my life. Like,
yeah. How was she at first? Because you guys have been together a couple of years now, yeah?
Since 2021, yeah.
And how was she at first with you and your match betting stuff? Can you talk about that? Or
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't match betting at the time.
Or just the system?
We met in 2021 when my dad was sick. Yeah. And the first ever date we went on, she did the free course. Like, it was at my house. And she got 95%. Like, people would piss themselves at that. We also played chess. We did like it was weird as, like, we spent a lot of time together. But yeah, she bought into it because she's not judgmental and like she's open-minded and she listens.
Can I ask what she does for work?
Now that's been like fully cut down to like casual, and I've told her she doesn't need to work because I'm happy to sort out the household. But now, because she does it less of that stuff, actual working full-time, she now cooks me dinner, cleans the house. So like we have a partnership where it's like I work and she supports that.
She runs the house.
And that is a job in itself, because like she does so much shit for me that allows me to be able to do this and prioritize this.
Yeah.
And like people will hate this, but like it's negative EV for me to cook.
You're not
Like
don't
I
like cooking?
well, no, because could be doing stuff on the business.
Yeah, fair enough.
So she'll cook for me.
Yeah.
Like I've been working from home a lot lately since we've moved to home office a bit more.
Yeah.
Like we spend less time in the office.
Yeah.
And we're able to get more work done. And I'll sit there for like 10 hours and I'll get 3 meals delivered throughout the day.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, and I'm not telling her to do that. She's just done that.
Yeah.
So how was she with the whole match betting thing? She bought into it from day one. She found it really cool.
Yeah.
Like I used to sit there like, it's funny because the two biggest ever days, not that we talk about days, but back in 2021, we had a 29.6 unit day and a 34.3 unit day the week after.
34 units in a day.
Both of those times, I was sitting on my bed sending the tips out, and she was next to me. And
Jesus Christ.
like she loved and then she was there when we first had our first ever paid subscription launched on the horse system. So like she was there, she's seen it all. So I feel like she's been part of it since day one and always been interested. Like she knows who you are. Like she'll know who you are. She'll know who people are in the community because I talk about people at home. It's like, this is our life. Like this isn't just like, oh yeah, this guy signed up. It's like we know a lot about members. We see them. We care. Like you said, we don't just say that. We actually know their story. We know what's happening, what they say. We're watching all the time. People and we connect the dots. Like, okay, this guy's no hope. This guy's like, and full transparency, we thought you were going to be someone who just forgotten about after 3 months. Yeah. But you're here now, and I don't think you'll ever go back to that mindset, like straight up.
There'd be no reason to.
No, but like I don't think you can do it. It's like almost not possible now to the point where it's like stupid to
even
your head.
If I tried, like.
Yeah. And that's good. Like we want to create thousands of those stories. We probably created a few hundred, but like we want to make, I said the other week, I don't want this to be about me, but like I want to change 1 million lives for this to be a success. Me personally, not just the business. Me personally, I want to change 1 million lives. If you don't know who we are, you probably could be thinking that I'm full of shit by saying that. If you do think that, in the description there is a free course. Every single person who's changed their life in our community started with that free course. So at the very worst, you can spend 2 hours going through it and you might end up changing your life. If it works for you, you might change your mindset around betting. So if you're interested in what we do, head to the description and have a look. Anyway, what did you have to ask me, Mike?
As a business, what do you think the biggest challenges are for you guys in scaling your operation and, turning, how many subs you got now? A few thousand?
We haven't pushed the horse system this year at all for 6 months. We have 420 in the horse tipping channel, and we have 200 sports system, and then we have 1150 platinum. So there's overlap there.
How many mentorship?
We haven't disclosed mentorship.
Okay.
There's a few now.
Yeah.
But there's overlap there.
Okay. Yeah.
So like, I'd say there'd be currently active members. There's about close to 1,400 because there's 1,150 platinum.
Yeah.
That's always increasing. And then the overlap of 440, 420 is a few people of both. So it'd be about 1,350 to 1,400 members currently. What's the question? What's the barrier?
What are the biggest challenges for you guys in scaling this and turning those, say, 1,100 into 11,000 and more?
Well, good question. Like previously, as much as we look like we're flying in as a business, like we have been just literally men in the trenches for 3.5 years.
I know, because you guys were barely
like DMs.
Any money for yourselves for ages, yeah?
No, like there's money being made, but it can't ever get to a high level where it's like automatic. Not that we want this to be automatic, but like, for example, me sending 8 minutes of voice messages to someone when they DM every single member, is not possible to do that for thousands of people. Yeah. So we're building systems where like we've had internally like fights between myself, Steve and Tom, like hundreds of fights, like full on. Really? Yeah. Just egos clashing and just fucking dumb shit. And then this year we had a discussion at the start of the year and we realized that we got a business coach in and he just said like, and we realized we're just doing whatever. Like everyone does whatever. And that's not a business. That is not a company. You need to be in charge of different areas that you're responsible for. And there's minimal overlap. Like everyone wants to control it. Like I'm a victim of this, I'm a culprit of this. I want to have control over this. And it's like, no, you can't do that. You need to be like, trust people to do that. They do this. I'm focused on this.
Yeah.
And since that, credit to Steve, he's the kind of manager in us.
Yeah.
I'm the maker. Tom's like a bit of both.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at organization and structure and very good, the best by miles at high impact, like personalization, but like that's not scalable if it's done in the way that it's done. So I've got a really good creator brain, ideas, but like making my ideas happen, I'm not good at.
Yeah.
So now Steve's like, well, okay, he's like I don't know if you follow Hormozy, but
yeah,
they've got a partnership going.
I've watched a bit of his stuff.
Since but like Layla is like, she structures, she's like the CEO of his companies and he's the mastermind behind it all. But without her, he can't do half the shit. So it's like now we've identified that I can be the mastermind, if you want to call that. I'm not like smarter than the other boys, but that's my strength. Yeah. And then I'm poor at organization structure. And then Steve's come in and like said, let's do this. We call him the boss now because like he's moving up. He runs the meetings. We have a meeting every Friday and Monday now that's structured, clear. We have tasks. We keep each other accountable. Yeah. So since that's happened, we've been able to scale our business more. So we got like 20 plus people in the team now. There's people doing paid ads. There's people doing coaching. There's people doing our free calls now. Max and Fudge are taking the free calls instead of Tom. If Tom's only taking free calls, then we're limited to just Tom taking them. If Tom's only doing the DMs, those boys are doing them now. They're learning. And then all of a sudden this is becoming more like things can happen without us. Tom's been overseas for 4 weeks. It's kind of like we don't even know he's away because he's still doing stuff, but he's coached these boys to be able to do his role. Yeah. We're still miles off becoming where we want to get to, but we're making
Where
steps
do you want to get to? Like, what's sort of the ultimate kind of...
I mean, like I said, change a million lives for me, but also like become a brand that's known around the whole world, that the system changes your life. Like you know who we are. We want to get to the point where it's like Joe Rogan level. It's like these guys will change your life. This brand will change your life. This is how you need to think about money. This is how you need to think about betting. Everyone, like, I want to be famous, like, but in a way where it's like, I don't want to be like this clout chasing idiot. I want to be famous because people know that we change lives. Yeah. So what's the goal? I don't know, like become that big that everyone knows who we are and that we help millions of people.
Will matched betting remain the core thing that you guys...
Well, in Australia, I mean, who knows? If match betting exists, of course, like it's still going to be a core part of our business because it works and you can make a lot of money from it. It can set up your life. It set up my life, set up Tom's life. Yeah. Steve came later to the party, but it did set up his life as well. But yeah, I mean, this whole business was created as the Hustler Squad first. Yeah. But that was actually for USA first. When it was started, the idea was for that with my best mate, Kiro, who's no longer part of it. Yeah. But his idea was to make it for US, and it started, and I'm like, nah, this is Australia, brother. Like there's a hole here. I'm going to Australia. I'm doing Australia first. Yeah. And then eventually it will go to the US for sure. Yeah. But as we grow and as we make it more scalable, we can go into other areas for it to be global, and that's where the scalability comes in. I think when people say, if match betting, if promos were gone, you guys would be like redundant. It's like, you kind of laugh because it's like, we know how to build a business now and a community around anything. Yeah. Because we've built it around this, and we could go into any market without sounding arrogant, and we'd know what to do. We'd know how to mimic this whole business and put it into something else. Yeah. And if you're trying to help people, if your business provides value, if your business helps people change their life, if their business helps people win, you're always going to have members. You're always going to have people who want to pay for your services or products. Yeah. So
you're going to keep the office here?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lease that's a few more years. So I mean, the office is a weird one because it does cost a lot, but it's like
high rent.
We don't need to have the office, but if we didn't have it, we wouldn't be in a position we're in because it brings a different element to like our image even. Like it's a bit weird to say like as much as you don't want to be like, you need to look good, you need to dress the part, whatever. People judge you based off how you look, and they interpret your products and services based on.
I do like the office. I reckon it's great for just the overall branding and image of you guys. Like just with your content, like that. One of my favorite videos is that just introductory to where you guys are in suits and.
Yeah, I mean the suits were a piss take, but it does.
And you're in someone's in the fridge and.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually underrated. Not a lot of people saw that. The members loved it, but yeah, it's a bit of a stupid idea that I had when I was
and Lenny's in there and you know, and mate, unfortunately, they are laughing at you. You got that.
It's the Spanish guy,
And,
but no, we need to make a few more of them.
And that, because it's in here and it's an office, it looks pro.
Yeah,
you know, like it looks pro, and you guys are in suits. And I like anyone I've told a few like friends and family about you guys, and that's always the video I send them first because
it's designed for that.
Yeah, it's just nails it.
People would probably think that is a scam video because of the cash we did deliberately flash around as a piss take. People would actually not understand that. And the fact that we wore suits was a piss take. Yeah. And the fact that we had money was a piss take. But it's probably not actually interpreted like that. Yeah. We're taking the piss out of people who flash cars and money and stuff and whatever and wearing suits. Like then we changed into other clothes and wore normal shit. Yeah. Like this is probably the best I'll ever dress up on a podcast. Like I wear fucking trackies and look like a bum 24/7.
Oh, me too.
I get called homeless on Twitter. Like I don't care. Like people like talk about my car. It's a 2008 Honda. Like I don't care. Like I don't.
2008. That's good.
It's 200,000 Ks. But like people, like it doesn't change how much I'm worth or whatever. I don't care. Like once you kind of have that I don't give a fuck mindset, I think you can go a little bit far in life. I reckon you have that a little bit, maybe a lot.
Yeah.
Probably with your music you have it a lot.
Well, I think you kind of have to have that with music. Yeah.
You were saying your haters and like what sort of hate have you got?
Oh, it's not so bad these days. Because I'm sort of more established now and people respect what I do with the music stuff. But in the earlier days, friends, even some family, you know, you got to go to uni. Mum wanted me to go to uni. Love you, Mum. I know you'll be watching this. But she eventually was very supportive of my music. But initially she wasn't. And lots of people said, there's, you know, the biggest one I love, and I will rinse them for it if I'm in the right mood, is you get some fucking Uncle fucking Jimmy at the family barbecue and he goes, and he's been laying bricks all his fucking life and that thinks he knows something about the music business and he sits there and goes, what are you doing this music shit for? There's no money in that. Oh, fuck off, Jimmy, you fucking dumb cunt. And I just start rinsing him and then he just shuts up and then everything's all awkward and I just go back to my beer.
So is that like an argument? Like you don't like each other? Or is that just like I don't care?
Oh, both.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. No,
it doesn't happen so much anymore.
Yeah,
I like it used to, but just that people are just doubters, man. People are just cynical and like they don't. I'm a big believer in foresight and believing in things before they're seen. Because I had to do that with my music. Like before I was making a living out of it and I was doing it part-time and I was doing fucking day jobs. I had that many telemarketing jobs. Oh God. I was good at it, but you burn out doing that shit. So I had to believe that I could eventually make a living from music, something that most people never get to make a living out of. I had to believe that I could do that before I'd actually done it. So, and I had to do the same thing with the Futures Multis, believe that it would work before, but at the same time, accept that it might not work.
Yeah.
And how am I going to deal with that if it doesn't work?
I mean, Steve put out a video the other day or the other week. I don't think the Instagram algorithm hated it, but I thought it was a really good video. It was the first one he's posted, like a rant style about people scared of failure. It's a good one to watch if you find it. He basically said,
I've seen that one yet.
Like a lot of people don't do something because they are too scared to fail, or they're scared because if they do fail, what other people are going to think of them.
Yeah.
Now, when this started, like what you said there, ability to have foresight, I call that, and the boys they used to laugh at this, but I call myself a delusional optimist to the point where I'll say things, and I've said this in the past.
I love it.
Like, we are going to do this. And they're like, no, shut up. You're a fucking idiot. And it just happened. It's because we all got on board and did it. And it's like now they're on the same page. It's like, we will do this. And they're like, yeah, no shit, we will. It's like now we're all delusional optimists because we can see foresight of we're going to do this. Like when I started this, I didn't want to like film my face in 2020. Like I wanted to film and be faceless. This is my business. I'm not going to put my face. Like that's just stupid.
You didn't feel comfortable doing that?
I didn't have, like I wasn't a public speaker. I didn't like my face out there. I wanted to stay anonymous. No, that can't happen.
Sarah certainly likes your face.
Yeah, well, tell her I'm engaged, but all good. But No, but the point is like, you need to not care about what people think. If you care what people think, like I used to think, oh shit, like if I post this, people are going to think like, cause it's new, like what the fuck is this guy? Like people start supporting you.
Yeah.
And then once you become successful, they kind of like drop off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like people unfollow me. Like I don't care, but it's just funny how people, cause they're like, they're not satisfied with their life. Your Uncle Jim's cynical because he probably hates what he does for so long. He doesn't want you to succeed. That's just how the human brain thinks. Fuck him. I'm not happy. Fuck him too. That's how it works.
That's
and it's like, it's a hard one because I can relate to it. And that's why I quit osteo. I was like, you see osteo people like passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
So fuck them. Like, wow.
When you decided that you would start Hustler and because did Tom start System? Or
no,
Trumpy?
I started the horse system, but I was silent.
Okay, right.
So we all started it together, but I was silent for a year and a half. Like it was a separate thing. I used to, it's probably not the most embarrassing thing, but like if you go back and watch old podcasts, and even I remember, I was just listening to our call before to you. It's like the Trumpy, they do this. It's like, brother, you created it. Shut up. Like they, But it's like, I didn't want my image on that because it was like, diversifiable. Like I didn't want both to be associated because people didn't like me or whatever. They then knew that I was part of this, whatever. Yeah. But then eventually we announced that we were together and now we're merged into one company. But yeah, at the start it was all three of us together. Steve actually made the horse system. Like he's the maths, like the engineer behind that.
Did you meet him working as a statistician at the Aussie Open?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I knew Tom through school.
And we had school with Tom?
Yeah, he's 2 years younger than me. But we started a match betting operation in 2016 and then 2017 or 2018. And
where did you guys first learn match betting, or how did you learn?
I learnt match betting off. I had a bonus bet on Bet365, and I randomly came across two-way Dutching on lines. Yeah. So I just magically saw, okay, if I put $50 bonus on $1.91 and then a $50 bet on $1.91 on the other team, but that's actually wrong because it's stake not returned. But I thought I'd created some method. That one got away with it, and then that was a 45% turnover. Then Kiro found three-way Dutching. We did that. Yeah. Then it became horses a few years later, getting 80%. And it was just deposit matches at the start, just rinsing accounts. And then, Tom came across it through, funnily, like this podcast has turned into about me, but I mean, who cares?
That's right.
About you've asked questions. If people want to listen, they can. But Tom came across a Facebook group where people would tell you how to match bet and tell you what bets to place. So essentially do what turnover and stuff like that. Yeah. But they tell you what to do and you pay them a percentage. So he came across a group and then he came to me because we were working at the same school we went to for a few months doing like sports stuff. Yeah. And he's like, I've randomly just said, I'm like, yeah, I've been doing that for like 3 years. And he's like, oh, fuck. And then he started doing it and then we got together and did an operation, and then kind of 2020 we got together with the horse system and built that up after Hustle started.
That's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I've one final question.
Yep.
We've talked about the past mainly.
Yep.
What's your future goals? Like what in life, and because you're getting married next year?
Sarah and I are getting married up in Port Douglas. Yep. And I think I've sent you, Tom and Steve, numerous invites, sober and drunk. Yeah. To that wedding. So
are they real?
Huh?
Are they real?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they real? Not just sending them because you're drunk, but you send them
real,
sober.
Man. Yeah, of course.
Cool. When is that?
We're probably looking at August. We've just got to get a bit more money together to pay for it and know that we can comfortably pay. But we don't want to go stupid on it, but we're probably going to need, 10, 15 grand to do it semi-well. Yeah. We're not going to have a huge affair, but so we're probably looking at August for that. Yeah. And then we're talking about a honeymoon in America and Norway at the moment. I want to do that American outback. I've been to the States heaps of times and done all the big, LA, New York, Vegas, all that sort of stuff. But I've never done like Montana, Wyoming, that like American outback kind of like just
road trip or?
Yeah, so we'd pick up a car in LA and drive over to Vegas, spend 2 or 3 nights in Vegas, and then just drive up north through like Colorado, Wyoming, the Dakotas, all that. I've never seen that part of the US, and she'd really want to see that as well. And then go to Norway after. I really want to show her Norway and see more of Norway. I've only done 3 nights there. I want to go further up north, like to Tromsø, you know, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's on the cards for next year. I've got a trip to Nashville coming up soon. I've got a new single coming out that I really want to try, and I think it's would work well for the US market and can cross over into that country kind of scene. I really want to pitch that a lot when I go to Nashville in September, and hopefully get some things happening with that. And yeah, I'll keep doing music. It's getting hard with the cost of living situation at the moment. Lots of venues are closing and festivals are closing, you know, so I'll keep doing that, and I want to keep doing the match betting stuff. I really want to do mentorship. I want to try and get that. I know you've closed it for now, but
it's open again now.
Okay, all right, okay, that's good. It's good to know. I really want to get into that, and that really fascinates me. Like, yeah, especially like getting to know Lenny and like having watched and listened to his story many times. Like, yeah, he's clearly a weapon.
Yeah, different character, similar traits, like addictive personality sort of thing.
He is addictive personality?
Yeah, I think you have to be if you're going to be that crazy at that age. Yeah. Everyone sort of has the same traits who are like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely want to do mentorship, but haven't quite got the bankroll for that just yet. But so right now, I mean, I'm in platinum. I'm doing the horse system. I'm in the sports system. I really like the sports system. Yep. So I find it like polar opposite to the horses because you've got so much time, almost too much time. Sometimes, like I've missed a few of the bets. Oh, fuck, I forgot to do that, and I've just been a bit lazy with it. So it's something I've got to work on there with the sports system tips. Stay in the community and keep sort of trying to scale up what I do, slowly increase my unit sizes. The target, it's an ambitious one, but the target is $1 million in winnings with the futures multis by the end of October. That's when my final cycle completes.
So you're not going to place any more bets after that?
I will with you guys.
No, as in that.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I haven't got anything placed past the World Series MLB that finalises at the end of October, and yeah, I would like to wind that down. After that cycle, I'll go hard on just hedging the shit out of it. With the current cycle, there's $6-7 grand worth of cash out sitting there right now. There's plenty of positions paying 6 figures. It's possible to do $1 million. It's unlikely. It would be nice, or even a few $100 grand. That'd still be nice, but it might not be anything. Who knows? I need a lot of variables there, but yeah, I would like to wind it up after that.
And match betting profits, do you want to put goals on that? Originally, your goal was 30K first 12 months. Obviously, haven't got that, but I mean, technically, have made that through whatever.
With the multis,
but yeah, what do you want to put a goal on it?
Yeah, I'd like to do $100 grand.
$100 grand, okay.
And
from now, 12 months.
Yeah. With the match, so that's not the multis. That's just what you guys teach. And that's the highest target figure I've come up with. Like when I had the call with Tom back in February, my target was 50 grand for a year.
Yep.
But now that I've sort of progressed a bit myself and just as you get more and more involved in this community and you start seeing what the bigger members are doing and how they're doing it, you start to realize what's actually possible. So 100 grand would be a challenge, but it's one I think I'll definitely need to do mentorship to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I'd love to do 100K next year in this for sure.
Yeah, nice.
And I think that the chances of me doing that are far greater and spending far less time on it than my futures multis strategy. And it would just be a lot more efficient, and it would allow me to have a life outside of just staring at my fucking sports bet up hours every day.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, like, you can achieve the 100K. That's the main goal that you can control.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's literally in front of you if you want it.
Yeah.
I think the other goal you said was about the alcohol. Do you want to put that down as something you want?
Yeah, I'm still sort of
Still not sure.
figuring that out.
Not want to put any goals on it?
I don't know if quitting for good is the answer for me.
Maybe not.
I believe I can have some alcohol in my life, and I believe I can control it. I was doing that. I have been doing that in the last few months. Obviously, last week was a blowout after winning all that money, of course. But since then, like I went a whole week without a drink. I had a few drinks with Sarah last night, but nothing crazy. I'm not hungover or anything. I would like to achieve a situation where I can have it in my life and moderate it. And now a lot of people will say, especially people in the music space, will say, no, that's not possible because you're extreme personality, you're addictive. It's either all or nothing with you. And, you know, they've got a point there, but I would like to buck that trend and prove that it is possible. Have it, but be able to control it.
Yeah.
And go keep doing extended periods of time without it. I want to up my training. I'd love to get back to 100.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what the weight goal was.
Sorry?
I was going to ask you what the weight goal
Yeah,
was.
I haven't been 130 in 15 years, man. But I would love to get back to that.
I've got to get to like 110. 100?
Sorry?
Would you want to get to 100 or 110?
It would be hard, my size, to get to that.
Well, you are 196 centimeters.
Yeah, so 6
I reckon
foot.
you could do it.
And if I keep doing strength training, then
Yeah, muscle, but
yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you can definitely get to like between 110 and 120, and you could be in a good shape.
Yeah.
I personally think, like, I've seen people your size do that.
Lose that much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just in, calories out.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all it is.
I know. Yeah, I know.
But once you have that kind of consistency with what you're doing and everything sort of aligns together, you'll find that you'll probably laugh at that goal looking back on this, I reckon, in 6 months. Yeah.
And yeah, like family, got my daughter Willow, she's only a year away from starting high school, so I really want to see that she gets the best start there. And then my sons are only a few years away, River. He's 8. So I love being a dad. That's why I moved to Lakes. I was living in Melbourne for years, and then my wife and I split up. She moved back down that way. And that's why I moved down there, to be closer to the kids. And yeah, so I want to I love being an active dad, and you know, keep doing that, and yeah, just keep rolling on, brother. And,
That's good.
And I did say to Tom, one of my messages, I'd love to work for you guys. I don't know what doing. I don't know. I know there's not a role for me at the moment, but yeah, that would be, I don't know what I'd do, but if you ever had something.
You've been clear with that. You said if there's a role, and when we put out things for
Sarah's talking to Steve at the moment, doing the promo list.
Oh, is she? Yeah.
She put her name forward.
Yep.
So she's definitely keen.
Yep.
I know that's only like 2 or 3 hours a week, that role, but yeah, she would smash that.
Yep.
She's got that. I'd be shit at it. That's why I didn't apply, because I'd be terrible. You'd be yelling at me. Steve would be yelling at me.
Yeah.
I'd prepare some shit ass fucking promo list with 2 bookies.
Yeah.
It'd be horrible. But her mind is a lot more organised and structured with that sort of stuff, and she loves this stuff. Like when I met her, I remember our first date, and I told her I'm right into my betting, but I'm not going to push it on anyone. And yeah, I was upfront with her, like full transparency, and then I showed her you guys, and she loves doing this stuff. One of my ideas with Tom was, I don't know if you'd be interested in this, but do a couple.
Yeah, for sure.
Podcast, like husband and wife. Well, we're not married.
Well,
yet,
we
but
tried
we're
to get
okay.
Mrs. Pete on, Mrs. Platinum.
Oh, yeah.
We actually haven't been able to. I haven't prioritized it, but we have the opportunity there to get her on. So I think people would love to hear that.
Is she in the?
She's not match betting, no. But she's been with Pete. But I think couples, you two are both doing it together.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be many in the community that are together. That are doing it. So I mean, for sure, like
she loves it, man. She's not doing multis like I am.
She just does match betting.
She just does this, and she's made. Fuck, man, she's already made fucking $3,000 or $4,000, and she's on a small unit size, and she's got the right mindset. She's a personal trainer. She's
no gambling bone in her body.
No, she's just not. She didn't even have a Sportsbet account when I met her. You know, she's just not a gambler at all.
Yeah.
But she loves doing this, and she just loves the community and loves the Discord, and she's often mentioning to me that there's no other chicks in the female Discord.
Yeah, it's not like I would say out of 1,400 members, I reckon there'd be less than 30 that are active females.
Wow, shit.
Probably maybe less.
Yeah.
But it's just how it is. It's just how the betting kind
but
of
she loves it, man.
is. Yeah.
And I remember that when I proposed to her, the night before I proposed to her, we're sitting at a beautiful restaurant overlooking the water in Port Douglas, and we had a nice waterfront seat. And I took a photo of her turning her bonus over on Betfair. And I sent it to Tom and said, I'm going to propose to her tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was cool to receive that and then see the video of it. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, well, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for sharing some of those.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's fine.
Been a dream of mine to come in here and just see this place, see the kingdom.
Yeah, he called it the kingdom.
And meet you in person.
Yeah.
You know?
No, hopefully you can inspire people listening.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot to take from your story.
Yeah.
Whether it be whatever you've discussed, I would highly encourage people to maybe go and listen to it again, or just try and have a think about stuff that if you want to improve your life, like you can if you make the right choices.
100%.
And you change your mindset. So
yeah,
the formalities, subscribe to the channel to not miss anything. And I don't know if Mike has any final messages, but that's it.
System for life.
And sorry, let's give you a pump up. What's your music name?
Mike Elrington. So I'm on Spotify and YouTube and all those channels. I've got heaps of videos and songs up there. So go have a listen. I'm always playing around the place. There's always gigs happening around Australia. So yeah, go have a listen.
Hopefully we can set up a meeting with Platinum Pete as well, so you can have a get together.
Love it.
But yeah, thank you.
No worries. Thanks, brother.
All done. All right. Good work. So there you have it. Another member interview done. If you want to watch more of them, there's a heap of them here. I think there's more than 30 now. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.